Saturday afternoon football from the MCG. Wide in the ruck. Couldn't get hands on the football. Here's Bruce. He's wrapped up by Dodd. Hazelby goes in, works hard, lays a tackle. Bit of push and shove just before the opening bounce involving the likes of Paul Medhurst.
And the first 3 tackles laid on by Fremantle, just showing the closing down immediately they've shown over the last few weeks.
The youngster Michael Warren, the debutant, straight into the ruck for Freo. Pavlich, first effective disposal to Bell and Hazelby. 3 important cogs in this Fremantle machine. Bell kicks towards 50. It's a 3-on-1 in the air, but the one wins. Good work from Graham Polak. We'll spend plenty of time in the ruck this afternoon. Off a reasonably short run, just chips. They'll contest 25 out from goal. Farmer and Cook. No height there at all for the Dockers. McLean to tidy up. Awkward handball for White. Carroll. Johnston comes through. It comes to Polak. Little give to Farmer. Can he kick the goal? Yes, he can. Dockers on the board in the opening minute. Jeff Farmer straight into the action. And the Dockers are up and about early.
It was only a Jeff Farmer act, wasn't it? Only Farmer in those sectors. No room at all. Almost to the left of the goalpost. Got to the outside of I think his right boot, and got it over the line before he hit the bar. With just a super skillful effort.
Jeff Farmer kicks 400 career goals. A wonderful achievement. In game number 205, he's been fantastic value for both his clubs.
Team lifting stuff by Jeff Farmer. Booted 7 goals against the Demons last year. It was a goal feast. Dockers booted 22 and the Demons 20. What a start for Jeff Farmer. That will inspire the Dockers. They've got a ball up.
White did get his hand on it clearly, but there were eight on the contest. 4 of both sides by the time it got to ground level, so they're going to work off White from Fremantle.
Matthew Carr just warming up on the boundary line. Chance there for Cook. Has come into the side. A late inclusion. Rockets the ball across. Cook runs to 35. Closes to 30. And kicks a goal.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. And Cook gave it up because he doesn't want to kick it. He's not allowed to kick it. And he gave it up and unfortunately got it back again. But he delivered very well. That's great for him. A last-minute inclusion. He struggled to find a place in the side. Playing forward of middle. And he's put away the second very conclusive goal, I think, for Fremantle.
His first goal of the season.
I reckon it might be the first goal for a number of seasons.
Well, Longmuir and Headland, of course, out of the side. And Cook came into the side along with Crowley.
Doesn't kick a lot of goals, Troy Cook. Kicked 2 goals 11 last season. That's his first for season 2006.
I rest my case on that stat.
The Dockers got an absolute flyer at the MCG. Interesting, John Barnes' comments about them looking fired up in the warm-up. And Melbourne looking laconic and a bit flat. Certainly paid dividends in the first couple of minutes for the Dockers. They've hit the ground running. Here's Mundy. Neitz trying to inspire his side, get them going. Hazelby went looking for Crowley. Johnson dropped what he could have taken. Under pressure now. Ripped off the contest illegally. Chance for the Demons with just their 3rd possession of the game. The Dockers already with 2 goals on the board. Green raking left foot towards half forward. Dunn the target. Parker looks to tidy up. He's in all sorts of trouble and gone. Good second follow-up effort there from Lynden Dunn. Playing game number 2 this afternoon. Debuted against the Cats last week. 8 possessions and 2 goals on debut. Turns 19 tomorrow.
Young Warren's done very well. He's a very, very mobile young man and follows up on the ground and used his body, not the strongest body in the world, but used his body to force the ball through. He looks at this stage a real prospect, and he's going to have to do a lot of work in that role today.
He's got the Brett Lee special run up. He's pushing off the sight screen here. He'll kick from just inside 50. Low trajectory, didn't make good contact, and misses to the near side. Demons on the board through Lynden Dunn. Goal umpire Chelsea Roffey, dressed in pink again, celebrating and supporting National Breast Cancer Weekend. Here's Grover. Handball to Thornton. Now Pavlich. Dockers look really sharp early. Pavlich just pulls the kick towards Farmer. He'll get there on the bounce. It was an awkward one. Whelan's a tidy up at the back for Melbourne. The D's under pressure early. McDonald. Now Carroll. We're forced to hold it up. Nothing further afield in the open at the moment. Now goes short to Brad Green. He's got it at half back for the D's.
Just sharing the ball around, Melbourne. They trail by 11 points. It's been a great start by the Dockers. Jeff Farmer kicking the first goal. Troy Cook coming into the side. Late minute replacements for Longmuir and Headland, along with Ryan Crowley. So a couple of quick goals lifts the spirits. They've got a good record at the G. Here's Aaron Davey also involved. Let's go down to John Barnes.
Yeah, guys, you've got Rivers sitting loose in Melbourne's defence. It looks like he's picking up Pavlis. Pavlis has just got the run of the ball.
Here's Warren, just worked his way out of the contest that time with Jeff White. Got the hands on the ball, down the bell. Quick as a flash across to Pavlis, coming off a great game last week. He booted 4 goals against the Eagles. And we see the ball tumble over the line for a boundary throw-in.
He's such a great endurance player, and I think to get him up at the start, Pavlich, by playing him in this role is smart, as long as their delivery into their 50 is right, because having his opponent sitting back in Rivers, he could make a mess of all of that.
Taken away by McLean. He's a dynamic young player for the Demons, coming off 30 possessions last week. Here's Dunn. Really looks a prospect. Going to ground was Robertson. Has to cough up the ball. Look at Bell. Bounces to his feet. Quick enough to get the handball away. Jamar runs hard from the back pocket. Davey, the chaser, taken away by Cook. Gets away from Bartram through the centre square. Long bomb, big kick, big pack of players. That was Rivers that flew high. Chance now. Hazelby stands and delivers and misses.
They made a mess of that, didn't they? I mean, Rivers came, I think it was Rivers who came over the top, Kevin. He didn't have to punch. All he did was have to protect his mate. They were 3-1 against and lost control at ground level. Probably should have been converted by Hazelby to make them 3, but lucky to get out of that, Melbourne.
Melbourne playing the huddle, as you can see. Johnston goes short to Whelan. Now over the top to Pickett at defensive 50. The switch is on to McLean. He looks up. He's got Rivers. Further afield, he's got Bell. Heads in that direction now and finds him just backward of centre wing. Bell goes inboard. Well-weighted kick finds Jeff White. The D's just looking for some time in possession, some meaningful possession after getting jumped early. The Dockers had pinched their wallet and their mobile phone in the opening 2 minutes. They were mugged. Here's McLean. Massive players ahead of Brock McLean, only a couple behind him. Dockers getting back in numbers to crowd the space. Crowley there off his hands. At the back is Grover. Flips over the top to Johnson, an impressive youngster. Crowley run down. Pressure came from Davey. Here's Shammer. Step through Robertson. And now they can switch play to the southern stand side of the ground. Medhurst got plenty of space to have 3 bounces. Long searching kick. Looking for Polak. Numbers back with Melbourne again. It's Bell on the bounce. Football will head back towards the wing. And here's the youngster Bartram.
He's across half back. Carroll just trots away on centre wing. Wants to draw an opponent. Needs some sort of support. Bartram is run down by McFarlane. Green lends a hand back to Uze. Couple of wise heads combined. Goes short. Finds Dunn. This time, too much carry on the ball. It's out of bounds on the full. Mundy. A tremendous prospect for the Dockers. Kicks the ball out in front. Hazelby. Got a great record against Melbourne. Wins a lot of the ball. Big pack of players against high flyers. Taken away by Carroll with strength. Barges his way through. Gives it across to White. Here comes McLean. Beautiful kick finds Davey. He'll take off. He'll stand on 50. And the Flash. The Flash has kicked a goal. He's a great prospect, David.
Oh, beautiful. Shammer was so slow to understand that he was going inside and playing on. Stood and watched him, and by the time he'd made 5, he took off all over 15 metres away and cleaned it up beautifully. A lovely piece of play. Got off his man to provide the option and ran round the bloke on the mark as if he wasn't there.
Melbourne's got a star in McLean as long as he can remain fit.
Oh, the charge through the middle, he was just fantastic.
Plenty of talent on display at both ends this afternoon. You've got Farmer and Medhurst at one end. You've got Pickett and Davey at the other. Melbourne on the board through Aaron Davey. We've played 10 minutes in the opening term at the MCG on Saturday afternoon football. Hazelby to Mundy. The Dockers out of the middle again. Kick from Dodd, inside 50, off the hands of the contest. Whelan in trouble. Cook, Farmer. He's being harassed by Whelan. Josh Carr on the bottom of the pack. Flips it out to Bell. He's wrapped up by McDonald. Umpire says holding the ball. Here's Davey on centre wing. He's got McLean over the top. Can draw the man. Go to Brock McLean now. He can straighten up from 55. Steps inside a man. Dodd just affects his kick with a push in the back. It'll be a free kick. It's coming back to McLean. Always touch and go, those ones, Parker.
Oh, yeah, but he gave up on him. He thought he just helped the kick away, and the push in the back was there, and I have no problem. That was the right decision. Brock McLean has been just super. When Melbourne needed somebody to stand up, and they've been slow to start in terms of the intensity which they brought to the game, he's the bloke.
And delivers to Green, who is a sharpshooter. McLean with 6 possessions. Hazelby with 6 for the Dockers. And McLean coming off for a spell. Melbourne fans appreciative of his early efforts in the opening 10 minutes. The ball's with Green. Unusually inaccurate so far this season with 2 goals, 6. Let's see what he can do from 45 metres out, 45-degree angle. Tries to work it back, can't do so. Minus score to Brad Green. Melbourne 1-2-8. The Dockers 2-1-13. We've played 11.5 minutes opening term at the MCG. Here's Kevin Bartlett.
Dockers by 5 points. Jamar with a new role in defence. Also designated kicker. Spears it in. Finds Johnson. Tall and gangly. Looks a prospect. Got some really wonderful young talented players. And here's one. Mundy. Short. Finds Medhurst. He's down across the half back. He's got Bell as his opponent. A lot of players inside the centre square. That kick's a shocker. Here's a chance for Rivers. Needs a kind bounce. Got an ugly one. Here's Pavlich just shoveled the ball out to Polak. Finds Crowley. Is coming to the side. Late inclusion. Runs to 50. High ball. Backing back is Farmer. Looks always dangerous on those one-on-one contests. If the ball hits the ground, he can pounce. Look at that wry smile. He's already kicked the goal. His 400th. Missed it by just that much.
And Pavlich is now back into the half-forward line, being picked up by Miller.
Chance for the Dockers. Again, getting his hands on the ball. Good play by Warren. And he has been impressive.
Oh, very impressive. I've not seen him play at all through the grades or prior to this. He's got athleticism. He looks like he's got a bit of footy know-how, and he charges straight at it. I think they'd be very pleased with his competitive nature.
Demons have to man up. Dodd over the top. Pushing the ball out in front. That time was Maloney. He's just come on to replace McLean. Take way. That time by Bruce. He's got Dodd as his shadow. Hands and knees crunched to the ground. Dodd wobbles the kick forward. Taken away by Rivers. He wants to draw an opponent. And Medhurst won't come to him. They're chasing hard from behind. Crowley was the chaser. Travis Johnston now backs himself in. Into the centre square. Spears the ball into Dunn. He's been pretty impressive, Dunn.
But that was a beautiful kick by Johnson. Just weighted it with an outside, what do you call that in golf, Kevin? Just a little give.
Kicked 2 goals on debut last week. A big pack of players. There's a good grab. Jamar. Well, he surprised last week by taking a big grab also at the start of the game in front of Scarlett and kicking a goal. And that's something that would be a huge benefit to Melbourne, David, if Jamar can find himself as a big option, taking a mark in the square.
We played a lot of his early football for Melbourne at senior level in the front half without being a dominant player.
Should kick a goal directly in front. It's a shocking kick and a wasted opportunity.
Well, you did say should, not will.
Yeah, that's true. And it's interesting how the change of tempo for Melbourne, and it's a real strategy used by clubs. Out of control, nothing's happening. Slow it down, get ourselves back in the contest, and now the game is, I think, is equally balanced.
Shammer to Mundy. And it may well be that Melbourne's extra talls may not help them around the ground so much. They're getting smashed in the clearances at the moment, but it might be that they can push them forward and do some damage. Here's Polak. Half lead from Medhurst. Goes further afield. Pavlich's the target. Jamar across the front. Pavlich read it off hands. Here's Medhurst from 35. Tries to pull it back. Does pull it back, but not enough. Minor score.
Pavlich is a wonderful player, isn't he? To create something like a small man out of those tight clearance situations. It's great to see a man of his athleticism but ability and size matched to it.
Cameron Bruce holds the football up, suggesting he's going to just thump it long, and does. Warren couldn't bring it down. Neitz does the tidying up. Look out. Bartram gone. Blindsided by Peter Bell. Turnover comes to the Dockers. Grover pumps it back. Farmer a chance. Nudged Whelan under the football. Play on the call. Whelan boots the ball quickly. Hacks it back in the Hazelby direction. He's got time to assess it. Not too much though. Pickett runs Bell down. Hazelby to Mundy. They set up again inside 50. Polak out of position. Miller off hands. Demons a chance now through Green. Comes through the back edge of the centre square. Wants to take McFarlane on. McFarlane runs him down, affects the kick. And the Dockers are 3-on-1, but the ones flash Davey. Beautiful pickup. Did it well to Dunn. Melbourne's still a chance. Dunn spears to 50. A 2-on-1 contest. Robertson taken high. And they've worked something out of nothing there, the D's.
Oh, it's great.
Robertson from 55. Bangs it long. They'll contest in the square. Neitz has got 2 to beat. Through his hands. At the back, Uze! Oh, clever. That's a wonderfully worked, what you might call low percentage goal from the Demons. They just scrapped and kept the football alive, David, and Uze got on the end of it.
But they did get into a small contest, not a big contest, and Uze's ability to crumb, and we had Miller at the other end, a big man crumb off the front of a pack and set that forward movement up. But the finish by Uze, he is a very special player in that he can convert those all the time. Not some of the time, all the time he puts those difficult ones away.
Let's go down to Johnny Barnes.
I followed Uze because the crowd was yelling out ooze, ooze, and I watched him. He ran from the half-back flank right down into the forward pocket there for that crumb to get that goal.
Demons 5 point, 2-3-15. The Dockers 2-2-14. Aaron Davey before gave Thornton 3 metres and had him in 5. Been pinged. Look at Hazelby and Maloney. Josh Carr. Coming off a great game last week, just beaten by 1 vote for the Ross Glendinning medal by Chris Judd. Controversial circumstances. Goes wide, looking for Black. Finds Matthew Carr. Sits just outside of 50. Tries to swing the ball across the body, taken by Bruce. And Dodd has got the job playing on Cameron Bruce. Even when he kicks out, he stands on the mark. Goes wide, finds Uze. Strutting his stuff now in the back half. Dunn. Just read it well, and good clean hands. Good players, don't fumble. Kicks to space. Here's Bate. Another young gun for the Demons. Just come off the bench. Taken away by Josh Carr. Rockets the ball wide. Finds Johnson. Dances on $1. Now caught in 2 minds. Didn't quite hit the target. McFarlane concedes ground. Goes back to Duffield, who goes very short and finds Johnson. So the Demons have just stifled the Dockers in the last 5 minutes. Pavlich between wing and half forward. 8 possessions to Hazelby. Number 8 coming up for Pavlich. 6 to Bell. Robinson from behind was a high fly, but well read by Jamar. Trying to atone for a missed goal. Now he kicks it out. It came short from Uze. Comes to Aaron Davey, who will back himself in. Just beckoning his opponent to come towards him. Now goes short. Looking for Neitz, who was pushed off the ball. Davies toe pokes it along in front. Parker to Shammer, working hard in defence to Mundy. And now Black from half-back, that raking left boot. Looking for the whiz as he goes back, and he's got it. Beats Whelan. Loves to run around. Ball dropping short. Got to play in front. McFarlane worked his way to the front. Make that Pavlich. Quick kick. Out of bounds on the full. He was looking for the push in the back, as we saw earlier in the quarter. Not to be.
Wasn't that much different.
No, it wasn't all that much different. Good call.
Miller releases Byron. Off half-back. Penetrating kick towards Dunn versus Thornton. It was a beautiful kick.
Great kick.
Dunn didn't have to break stride. Thornton was by his shoulder, but never in the contest. Now Robertson. Same could be said of that. The Dockers with a couple of spare men back inside 50. That's what will confront Robertson, so he'll go short to Pickett, who kept working up the ground. He's now 65 metres from goal. Bruce leads to the pocket. He goes longer than that. It's an ugly looking kick. It'll work beautifully. It was almost a Stephen Kernahan special.
Oh, it was a torpedo that absolutely faded very, very badly to the left, and Neitz was good enough to read it and get there first. You'd be very frustrated in the box if you saw a bloke lob it in the forward line with that sort of kick.
Here's the skipper. Opens up the angle and casually slots it through.
The good work, though, David, was that Pickett actually kicked the ball as fast as he could, and therefore there was some space. So,
exactly.
I mean, forwards like that. If the ball drops short, forwards generally can read it.
And most of the time, we've seen sides who wouldn't have done that, Kevin. They would have held on the ball, held on the ball, look for a leading option, look for something, and he just kicked it into the space.
That's it. And with big Jamar being down there and Neitz as well, it's a good tactic for the Demons.
And Neitz should be pleased about that, having not taken the mark and converted it at this time. I think it's very important for him as captain of the club.
Brock McLean has also trotted back onto the field. There's the skipper back in the side. 9th goal for the season. Polak had it and lost it. Cook trying to work his way out of the centre square. Looking for Bell. Couldn't take it on the second grab. Whelan's got a tough job today playing on Jeff Farmer. Here's Brock McLean straight away into the action, and Pickett is roaming wide. Neitz wants it short. Chipping in his bait. Bait and Dunn, two really fine young players for Melbourne. They look cool under pressure. Brock McLean again at the foot of the pack. Gets the handball out to Dunn. Speak of the devil, goes short, looking for Robertson, goes to the ground, bounces to his feet. Where's the flash? Robertson trying to run down. That time Josh Carr was nearly wrapped up in the tackle, but Shammer, well done, runs hard, comes away from the back pocket. That's very, very short. Very, very short 15. As Pavlich to Shammer, who continues to run. The playmaker across the centre of the ground. Here's Parker. His partner in crime hammers the ball in. Big pack of players down there. Coming through hard that time is Warren. Loose ball picked up by Pickett. Rockets the ball out to White. They'll run hard now, the Demons. Green. Tremendous game last week against the Cats. Standing his ground is Robertson. Now this is going to be a great contest. Here's Davey. Can he get a sniff of the ball? He can with a flash. Goes very short, looking for Bruce. Dodd will be his shadow. Here's Bell. Back to Johnson. So the Dockers work the ball well out of defence. They go wide. And Heath Black trots to the edge of the centre square.
Goes inside 50 again. Melbourne with numbers back there. Inside 50s at the moment. 14, now 15-7 in favour of the Dockers, but they just can't get their hands on the football. Melbourne pushing numbers back, starting their attacks from so deep in defence. Bell's kick was a beauty. Dunn's got a couple of metres on Mundy. Off the right boot, goes to the corridor. It's a 2-on-1, both sides with defensive numbers in their favour. This is Johnson. Cook. What it means is there's space through the midfield for both sides when they get the football, because both 50s have got so many numbers inside them. Pavlich, 70 metres out. Can square it up to Walker. He's got Warren in the corridor if he wants to head in that direction.
He has to go to Warren. JB, you've called that right. He has to go to make White accountable.
McFarlane at 50. Never much of a chance to do anything with it once he got it. Here's Pickett. Miller tries to sell the dummy to Cook. Only half bought it, then gave it up. Walker. Uze. Walker in again. Paddling under pressure. Pickett in there. Bell in there. Bell wins the football. Uze under enormous pressure as well. And he'll get a free kick. Lingering tackle. Might have just slipped a bit low as well. Rivers breaks to the wing to take Walker on by foot. Now gives it off. Robertson's kick partly smothered. Opens a door for Matthew Carr. Now to Thornton. He'll kick it long. Carr versus McDonald. Pavlich works hard to get there. Flashed across the screen. Bell wrapped up by Cook, one of the best tacklers in the business. Now McDonald off half-back. It's pretty frenetic at the moment. Look out. Great tackle from Josh Carr. Opens it up for Matthew Carr. Goes to McFarlane. Play on the call. And now Bell off half-back again. It's stop-start football at the moment. Plenty of turnovers, plenty of pressure. Uze. Green's got some space. Can he deliver and find a target at 50? Goes towards Dunn. Clears that contest. Neitz and Bell. Bell did it well to tidy up. Really is rebound football between the two half-back lines at this stage of the game. Parker slips a tackle. Walker looking for Warren. Pressure came from Rivers and forced it to ground, and eventually it finds the boundary line. It's just bouncing between the two defences at the moment.
And it is, and I made the call before. They've got to make White accountable. He's the one who's in all of these bunch-ups in a defensive role. They've got to go to young Warren. He's got to learn where to run. They've got to have the confidence to use him.
White takes the front position. Chance now for Carr, ground level. Quick kick, inside 50, danger to the Demons. Pavlich got an ugly bounce. Miller trying to paddle the ball along with Whelan and also Farmer towards the boundary line. We've got a toss back in. Daniel Bell's been a tremendous player for Melbourne in this first term.
He's had a few good weeks, Kevin.
And also throw in Dunn and McLean. Some young players strutting their stuff for Melbourne. 3-3-21. They lead by 7 points. 2-2-14. The Dockers. Here's Pavlich. Breaks the tackle. Fired out the handball. Didn't quite able to take it that time was Black. And he's off target. And through for a minor score.
A bit upset by the number of Fremantle players who are peeling to the umpire and throwing their arms and shrugging around for supposed interference instead of getting on and playing the game. I haven't seen any of that at the other end. That's one thing Melbourne are doing far better in a disciplined way.
Got to play the ball on its merits. You saw Neil Danaher then just talking to the Chargers on the bench as the siren sounds. The Dockers bounced out of the blocks for the first couple of goals, particularly from Jeff Farmer. He kicked the first goal of the match. He's 400th in AFL football. 2-3-15 the Dockers, and the Demons have hit back. 3-3-21. That man on screen, Pickett, has been handy. And that man there, Green, Brad Green, has the most possessions for Melbourne. He's got 10.
Quarter time at the G. Melbourne by 6 points.
Join us on Tuesday for a pie who never kicked a goal.
Oh, a very tough defender in Lee Adamson.
Plus a man that played in the back line for Hawthorn known as Rubber.
Yes, David O'Halloran.
Then relive the 1994 Collingwood North Melbourne clash with Ron Barassi. All part of your legendary Tuesday night lineup on Fox Footy.
Imagine creating more for less. You can with HP. Now you'll easily create twice as many beautiful quality prints using the same amount of ink as other brands. So every time you print, you'll save money. At HP, we call this fuel-efficient printing.
Your wife called.
Oh. She seems nice.
Fun meets functionality with a new Motorola Razr V3X.
Hello, Moto.
In trouble was Uze. He improvises and makes something out of nothing. It's a goal.
Hi, I'm George Hamilton, and I like things toasted. So you can imagine my delight when I happened upon these. New Ritz toasted chips. They're not fried like regular potato chips. Ritz chips?
Ritz? Chips?
Toasted. Not fried. New Ritz toasted chips. Full of flavor and 30% less fat than regular fried potato chips. And believe me, I know toasted.
Hey, Dazza. Jan wants me to get some sort of insurance for the family. Think it's worth it?
Nah, it's too risky. But I've got a mate doing development down south. It's a bit of a swamp now,
But with global warming, it'll dry out in no time. Ka-ching!
Don't ask Dazza. Ask a real financial planner. Only they can help you with all your financial planning needs. Contact the FPA for an advice pack or a planner near you.
The man. The machine. What's been said has been said.
It's going to be obscene what I want to do to Danny Green.
Now it's time to set the record straight.
The beauty about boxing is you're only one punch away from disaster.
They'll meet face to face for the biggest event in Australian boxing history. Anthony the Man Mundine beat Danny the Green Machine. Live next Wednesday from 5 p.m. on Main Event. Or Star Analog. Call to book now. Foxtel and Optus Digital press box office from May 15. Wednesday on Headliners, footy goes national.
It was a traumatic period. Amazing trauma.
As the cash-strapped VFL struggles for long-term prosperity, a bold decision is declared. Move South Melbourne to Sydney.
South Melbourne club would have gone bankrupt. We thought playing in the red and white somewhere was better than not playing at all.
But the Swans' relocation was initially riddled with unrest.
It was absolute chaos there for a while.
Get the story behind the story on the birth of the Sydney Swans. Wednesday, exclusive to Headliners.
Carroll, Johnstone comes through, comes to Pollak. Will give to Farmer. Can he kick the goal? Yes, he can. Here comes McLean. Beautiful kick finds Davey. He'll take off. He'll stand on 50. And the Flash has kicked a goal. Entertaining contest at the MCG on Saturday afternoon football. The D's with their noses in front at the first change. They're 3-3-21. The Dockers 2-3-15. All single goal kickers and plenty of big numbers. Green and McLean with 10 each. And Pavlich has had 12 for Fremantle. Well, John Barnes made mention before the opening bounce that the Dockers looked up and about. Melbourne looked a little lethargic. You were spot on the money, Barnesy. The Dockers opened with 2 goals in 2 minutes. What have you got for us at quarter time?
Yeah, look, Jace, Neil Danaher ran straight out to the huddle. He gave him the biggest spray of all time. He didn't want him to waste the ball by bombing it in long. He wants them to honour the short lead. Chris Connolly, on the other hand, he let his assistant coaches do all the talking. And when he got his players in, he didn't want them to bomb the ball long and play dumb football because Melbourne, as you know, have got a loose player back there. So I expect both teams to look for the shorter passes.
Great start from the Dockers, 2 goals in 2 minutes, but then goalless for the rest of the quarter, David, once the game actually started to find a bit of a trend. Melbourne pushed numbers back. They had enormous numbers back there, which sometimes worked for them and sometimes didn't. We saw early on a couple of occasions Melbourne defenders getting in each other's way.
Well, that was disappointing. You reckon there'd be a greater understanding. The third man in would have just protected his mate in front. That happened 2 or 3 times, and they were lucky not to suffer the consequences of those. I just thought it was unusual. Pavlich spent a hell of a lot of time midfield pushing forward. That left his man, Miller, and also the ruckman in white sitting back.
One other game of round 7 action on this afternoon. Richmond taking on Sydney at the Telstra Dome. Replays coming up on Fox Footy, so if you don't want to know the score, look away now. Some concerns for Chris Connolly. I think the fact that after the 2-minute mark they were held goalless for the rest of the quarter once Melbourne got their structure right. The Dockers need to now find a way to break through that Melbourne defensive wall. The D's by 6 points as we start the second term. Scott Thornton's been moved to centre-half forward for Fremantle as they try to find an avenue to goal inside 50s. That term 19-9 in favour of Fremantle. So they had a stack more supply going inside 50, but unfortunately for them, most of the time it came bouncing straight back out.
And they've done something about that structure to prevent this now.
Hazelby. The Dockers continuing to get first hands on the football. Clearances 10-2 in that opening term. Here's Bruce. Kick partly smothered. Green runs at it, takes possession, dishes it off quickly. Tackle lingered. It was a costly one for the Dockers because they had possession and were streaming forward. And that'll be 50 the other direction. The tackle just didn't need to linger there either.
It was correctly decision, and unfortunately they took it as an advantage rule and went. It was a double possession after that. They had to cop the 50 after the second.
So now an opportunity at the other end. It could effectively be a 12-point turnaround. Brad Green, we mentioned his kicking isn't quite at its peak at this point in time so far this season. Has been very inaccurate by his standards. 2 goals, 7. What can he do from 35 out directly in front? This to give the D's a tidy little buffer early in the second term. And he makes no mistake. Melbourne get their fourth. So, a costly reversal of momentum, if you like. The Dockers were heading in the right direction. Suddenly, whack, back the other way, a 2-goal swing.
I think, JB, you'll see that as one of the crucial goals of the game. They really set up, they hammered the clearance in the contest, lost it on a free kick, a hold on too late in the tackle, and now a goal's resulted, the one really that Fremantle didn't want in this game.
Hazelbeard pretty much laid the tackle almost after Brad Green got rid of the football.
Demons by 12 points, 4-3-27. The Dockers 2-3-15. Chance for Brock McLean. Hazelby goes to ground. Warren wrapped up in the tackle that time by McDonald, and he's been pinged. McDonald playing game number 160 today. Goes wide, finds Cameron Bruce. Cook stands the mark. Here's Brock McLean. He's a running machine and a ball winner. Possession number 11. Uze. He's on a long lead. Pickett, take 2. So John Barnes said that Neil Danaher didn't want the long bomb into the goal square. He wanted the Melbourne side to share the ball away round and work their way inside 50. Here's Miller. Still inside the centre square, so they've gone backwards. Neitz is the target. Cameron Bruce just left it for Robertson. Got one he should have held. We've got a ball up just 30 metres out from Melbourne's goal.
Kevin, he normally swallowed that. I mean, that was the easiest one he's gone for the year.
Jamar to do the ruck work, and Robertson now doing the ruck work as well. Got his hands on the ball, taken away by Mundy to Grover in game number 100, and Johnson just backtracks and retreats through for a behind.
Oh, and he's given it up, Johnson. Caught in 2 or 3 minds.
Well, you've actually got to kick the ball coming out of the square, and he's managed to get to the line and say, I can't kick it, I'm going to be able, so I'll just hand pass it instead.
Could be costly. The Dockers just on the back foot at the moment. Melbourne have got them just a touch rattled. They need to change the tempo of the game, and they concede another behind. Things running Melbourne's way at the moment. Here's Johnson. Wants to kick, then wants to kick again, realises, I'm gone. Do you reckon he might notice? No, he did. Shammer to Mundy. Dockers need a steadier here. Haven't kicked a goal since the 2-minute mark of the opening term. We're now at the 4-minute mark of the second. And bit by bit, Melbourne, if it's an arm wrestle, are 3/4 of the way down to the mat. Off the hands of the contest. Ferocious effort from Black. That was a lingering tackle on Johnston. Play on the call. Whelan short and tidy to Robertson. Dockers just need to get their hands on the football and get a bit of momentum back here, because they are as flat as you like at the moment.
They look like the last couple of weeks might emotionally take them a bit out, but their intensity dissipated almost out of a bottle in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, it was like opening a can of Coke, wasn't it? All the energy was there in the first spray, and that was it.
So they can't find their blokes now. When they get the ball, they can't provide running options. They're in a bit of a hole right now.
Bartram. Robertson has to wait. 70 metres from goal. He's got Dunn in the pocket. Neitz now leads. Now he's got no one leading. So he'll go long. Dunn's got back. Neitz is there as well. Fremantle out of position. Here's Davey. Goal! Beautiful. Copybook. That's your definition of front and centre roving.
And what a finish again. I mean, he just needs a fraction of a second and a fraction of a metre, and it's all gone and goodbye. Nobody else was on it. Nobody else even read it and could get there or prevent the final result. Just a super talent, this young man.
And to hit it at pace and just time your run perfectly, David, that's the real skill of it, isn't it? It's almost instinctive.
And to be able to handle it with the sureness that he does in those circumstances.
Half a chance becomes 6 points.
2 goals to the Flash. Aaron Davey. He's booted 14 goals for the season. 5-5-35 the Demons. The Dockers are 2-3-15. They trail by 20 points. Have not kicked a goal since the 2-minute mark of the opening term. Here's Maloney. This comes off the interchange bench, gives it across to Travis Johnson. Here's Davey again out in front. Marks in front of Shammer. Uze just trots down from half back. 60 metres out from goal. Robertson says, kick it to me. Neitz is lurking. So's Green. Got him.
This is becoming a carve-up.
It is, Jason. It's a bit of embarrassment at the moment. I think you said it a few months ago. They've got to get their hand on the ball. They can't even find the ball to start something, let alone prevent Melbourne from doing what they're doing.
Possessions this term 20-5 in favour of the Demons. Inside 50s, 4-zip.
Well, that's an incredible stat, isn't it?
5 possessions in 7 minutes of football for the whole Dockers team.
Well, he's already kicked a goal for Melbourne in the second term. Brad Green. Can be a beautiful kick. Is a beautiful kick. Rams at home.
Well, this is becoming already, early in the second quarter, an absolute nightmare for the Fremantle Footy Club. I think there's nothing individually or in a collection of their players that is happening for them, and Melbourne are showing an absolute class above their opponents.
These took some time to get going and just to work their way on top. Now Fremantle got the double problem. Not only are they flat, but Melbourne are now up and about. In the blink of an eye, the margin's 26 points. Melbourne have added 3 goals too. The Dockers yet to go inside 50 for the term. Dodd wrapped up, going nowhere. They need a spark. Where's it going to come from? White gets the tap. Carr puts his body over the football. Did well, won himself a free kick. They just need some chains of meaningful possession. They've got to get some sort of structure going, because at the moment they are rudderless. Carr, high ball inside 50. Kick it and hope. Off the hands of the contest. It's there for the Dockers. Pavlich, quick kick. McFarlane, tight in the pocket, taken to the line by Miller, and will have a throw in. There has to be a degree of patience at the same time, doesn't there, David? You want something to happen, but they've got to think their way through it.
And we're critical when a kick goes in like that, and there's no hope. They nearly actually manufactured an opportunity to goal.
White fist it straight back towards the line. Both ruckmen did. It's going against White. Hit it out of bounds on the full. Free kick to Hazelby. Umpire just lining Paul Hazelby up over the mark.
It's a brave decision, I reckon, by the
Well, they both had hands on the footy, didn't they? There's no doubt White was the one that emphatically smashed it towards the line, but let's see what Hazelby can do from here. Would they need a spark? Is this it? Not with that. Let's take another look. Pavlich indeed didn't actually get hands on the football in the end.
Clean hit, good decision.
Uze. Melbourne using the width of this ground very effectively at the moment. They're creating space for themselves exceptionally well, and when Fremantle have possession, they just seem to be crowded and cluttered and pressured. White lunges. Johnston under some pressure now from Crowley. Tackle slipped high and
too high.
Let him off the hook. Johnston at defensive 50. Again, we see Melbourne manufacture some space for themselves. The kick wasn't ideal. He and Green weren't on the same wavelength, but Green made it good. Got it to Neitz. He can look up inside 50. Robertson can set himself. Doesn't even need to set himself. His man went to ground Monday. Needs a bounce. Gets a bounce. Maybe just rushed the kick in the end and misses. But their ball movement is so much superior to the Fremantle Dockers at the moment. And just their ability, as I say, David, to use the width of the ground to create some space for themselves.
Which means you've got to work. And they're working much harder than Fremantle are, just in the absolute run department.
Shammer to bring the ball back into play. Dangerous kick. Here comes McLean. He is killing the Dockers. Spears it in short. Finds Uze. This is where Brad Green just kicked his goal from. Both left footers, non-preferred side.
And the lack of leg speed from Carl and Hazelby and Medhurst and those blokes on the way out, their men are being exploited in terms of offering and receiving easy possession. They've just, I think, got the wrong balance in terms of speed and in and unders. The outside players can't get to their opponents. Really sad state of affairs at this point.
Demons by 27 points. This to stretch it to 33. Starts to bend it back. Not enough. Through for a behind.
The Melbourne players have gone completely into their shell. The Fremantle players completely into their shells, David. They're completely reactionary now.
And the risks is what you've got to take. And I guess when you're in this situation, you don't want to take one to muck it up further.
Dodd takes it short from Shammer.
Just had
Parker.
That's a good call.
He's just lingering at half back. Just trying to work their way down centre wing. Here's Travis Johnson, has read it well. They look pretty sharp, the Demons. They are switched on. The Dockers started with a bang. They had 2 goals in the first 2 minutes. And now haven't been able to score, even get the ball in their hands. Melbourne first to the ball. There's no easy kicks or handballs for the Dockers as Warren takes it over.
Possessions this term now 30-10 in favour of Melbourne. So the Dockers not even going at a possession a minute at the moment. 12 minutes of footy for 10 touches.
Jamar to do the ruck work against Warren. Slaps it down. Running onto the ball is Uze. Gives it across to Davey. And the flash hammers the ball in. Looking for Robertson. Get it back. Good play that time by Johnson. Consummate defender thumping the ball through for a behind now. Let's just watch the kick in. He's got to remember to kick it.
That's the important part, isn't it? The kick of the kick in.
He's a quick learner. Finds Shammer.
And even now, the lack of genuine effort to get themselves free. But you're right, the risk-taking JB has gone altogether from the Dockers team.
Duffield has got it in the back pocket. 6-8-44, the Demons. The Dockers are 2-3-15. They trail by 29 points. Shammer's the target. He's closing quickly. He's McLean. He's on one side of the ground, then the other. Oh. He's a gun.
And I tell you who's going to work the hardest today, young Warren. He's chased White and now he's chasing Jamar. He'll be a very tired boy at the end of the day.
Hazelby takes it out of the ruck to Josh Carr. Again, just so flat-footed at the moment, the Fremantle Dockers, and they play their best football when they do roll the dice and take risks, and they're proactive, not reactionary. They've got 4 blokes in their half-back line that love to take the football and run and create play and take a risk, and that's when they look good, and they did it last week against the Eagles magnificently.
And except for the first 2 minutes today, Jason, they haven't done it at all.
Completely gone into their shells, the Dockers.
And they're not even, as we say, getting the tempo right. They're not even able to get possession, slow it down, get themselves back in the contest. They've not even been able to do that. Most teams can in these circumstances.
Matthew Pavlich has 1 touch in the first 14 minutes after 12 in the opening term. Bell, dubious disposal. Umpire saw it, the non-officiating umpire saw it. You heard the Melbourne fans on the outer side saw it. The controlling umpire at the time was blindsided, so good work from the non-officiating umpire to come in and overrule. Free kick for the throw. Let's have another look. Johnston. Low trajectory pass to Neitz and Uze. From 55 off a couple of steps. Robertson set himself for the fly, lost his footing, and it worked out beautifully. It was all set for a Russell Robertson hanger attempt. He went to ground, just got up in time to have the ball fall into his lap and kick a goal as McLean comes off for a spell.
I got waylaid behind the play when Peter Bell has spent the last 5 minutes arguing with the umpire who changed the decision, the original decision, and in the meantime has lost his whole focus on the game, including his opponent who was used. That is disgraceful, undisciplined play.
Some people say what makes a good player. Travis Johnson's kick so fast through the air. It was just absolutely fantastic, hitting Uze on the chest. Those players who can, thump that ball, gives no chance to defenders because it's so quick through the air. And Travis Johnson is a magnificent kick. Speak of the devil, here he is now, paddling the ball long in front. He doesn't fumble. Taken away by Pickett. Goes wide, finds Davey, and gets a bit of a shove from Parker as well. Back to Pickett. Just waxing now Melbourne. Every time they go inside 50, they are so dangerous. Concedes ground, finds Carroll. Johnson. This time Bartram leads up and takes it on the edge of the centre square. So Melbourne looking so dangerous. 7-8-50, plays 2-3-15. They lead by 35 points, and Bartram, young man his first season, goes wide. Hines. Guess who? Travis Johnstone. Neitz is going to be the target. Pushed off the contest that time by Duffield. Tried to slap it on to McDonald. Loose ball. Danger here for the Dockers. McDonald and Neitz now wrapped up in the tackle is dumped 35 metres out from goal.
But it's the reactionary nature now, the very thing, Jason, you said before. They're only chasing after, putting on tackles, trying to slow them down. No initiative with the ball.
16.5 minutes played in the second term. Saturday afternoon football. Here's Aaron Davey. Thought he had it and lost it. Gets the ball across to the Sujet! Hammers it home! Great play, Melbourne. The Flash was involved.
He stayed involved too, didn't he? He was involved all the way. Kept his body over, got buffeted off it, never lost control of the ball, and knocked it out in the finish to set it up. I mean, he's an excitement machine.
It's amazing, isn't it, David, that he was a rookie player. They even had a rookie camp, and only about 3 clubs bothered to turn up. And who was there but Aaron Davey? Well done to Melbourne. And during the week, Neil Danaher suggested that Aaron Davey could be the first Aborigine to captain Melbourne. So he must see, apart from his brilliant speed and his footwork, that he's got leadership qualities as well.
41 points to the margin.
He interviewed extremely well for the article that was written about him today. I thought it was a very mature approach for a young kid.
Mother's Day weekend, and this is a mother of a smacking at the moment. The margin, 41 points. The Dockers have been inside 50 once in 18 minutes of the second term. It's not just the pure numbers, it's the way they're going about it at the moment. Just so much uncontested possession for Melbourne. Bruce, Pickett, tries to slip through a couple of tackles. Again, they will it forward. Bate, inside 50, 2-on-1. Uze couldn't hang on. Duffield, stripped of it by Dunn. Pavlich. Little kick round the corner. Parker keeps it alive. Black for Shammer. Finally, a chain of possession for the Dockers. And a good grab at half forward taken by McFarlane. No one inside 50. Will kick it to space. Allow the likes of Hazelby and Carter run onto it. Green, the double fister, probably could have marked it. Farmer tries to create. He's run down. Umpire said he put it on the deck, so that's holding the ball. Johnston. Here's the flash.
That was another great kick from Travis Johnstone.
Crowley down behind play.
Yeah, Pickett picked him off in the way we've seen a number in the Shepherd of late, and he was a bit worse for wear, but I'm sure I think it's Crowley, is very, very sick boy.
Duffield intercepts the kick. Squares it up. Finds Polak. They've got to take some risks. They've got to switch. They've just got to start running hard. They've got to work their butts off to get back into this game. Johnson. Hazelby. This is better. Some creation. Black to finish from 45. Disappointing as Crowley comes off. Let's take another look. Ooh, what do you think?
Well, it's within the rules, as the last couple have been. I think it was a nasty hit, but well timed. Blake was unaware.
Was Crowley reasonably anticipating contact in this situation, Kevin? That's the key criteria, isn't it?
He's got to be in a position where he would expect contact, and if you're in the play and you would expect contact,
would you expect him there?
Okay. Well, he wasn't far from the play, was he?
Well, we've had 3 in a couple of weeks, JB, so they're going to have a review of this, I would suggest.
Carroll goes to White.
At least we've had 2 reasonable build-ups by Fremantle in the last couple of minutes. 2 times where they took a bit of a risk and at least in the finish created an opportunity to score.
I get the feeling they can change the tone of this game quickly, the Dockers, if they just get on the front foot. Searching kick from Pavlich to Farmer's good. They have the capacity, because they are an attacking team by nature, to score heavily in a hurry. But the first thing they need to do is just stop the bleeding and get some confidence, get some possession, get some timing control themselves.
Well, that's what Melbourne did when the thing was reversed very early in the game, but I have not seen that same approach or control from Freo.
They've got it in them. The margin's 40 points. A goal to Farmer brings it back to 34. We're into time on in the second term. The Dockers still in the contest, make no mistake. Unfortunately, Farmer does make a mistake, that is. Minor score.
Well, they needed both of those, didn't they? Both of those would have given them at least a bit of encouragement at a time when they've been struggling, but neither conversion should have. I mean, both should have been there, but neither found the goal.
21 minutes gone, second term rather. They haven't kicked a goal since the 2-minute mark of the opening term. It's so often the case. It's when you're really desperate for a goal that you just seem to miss them. Johnston and Miller. He's got wide in wide open space here. Another promising setup for the Demons. Carroll will come across to lay a shepherd on Carr. Carr keeps going. Good tenacity from him. But still, too much time for White. And he's still on his own inside 50. No one's picked him up. No one's picked up Uze either. He drops the mark. Has got some time. On the right boot, Robertson jumped early. It's still there. Out of bounds alongside the behind post.
You know, Danaher would be ropeable. They missed that opportunity.
Oh, it's terrible. And Nathan Brown worked so hard over here to put the shepherd on White, didn't he? Ran about 35 or 40 metres to give his mate a clearance.
Here's a chance for Neitz. Got his hands on the ball. Davey is so dangerous. He's booted 3 goals. He's the danger man for the Dockers. Here's Duffield. Works his way out of trouble. Goes short. Finds Pavlich, just slides onto the ball.
And that's what they're lacking. Someone to take it under the arm and go for it.
Possession number 16. They set up wide. Shammer. Down from the back pocket. Running hard is Carr. Make that Heath Black. Edge of the centre square. Polak from behind. Too slow to read it. Taken away by Jamar. Goes short. Finds bait. One of the young guns for the Demons. Goes wide. Another nice kick, and Bruce didn't have to break stride. Got some skills today, Melbourne. Hitting targets. Maloney. And holes are appearing at the G. Bait. Hammers the ball inside 50. One for the high flyers. Robertson was there, this time outpointed by Johnson. Just playing game number 18. To Polak, to Walker. And finds McFarland. Playing in front of Carroll. He's on centre wing. Hazelby takes the kick short. Here's Johnson. Just trying to create something out of defence. And the Melbourne players have been very good today at forcing their way back. And the back line has been absolutely superb. Here's Jamar in front. Chance now at the back of the pack. Medhurst kicks a goal.
Tempo has changed, David. It's incidental, but it certainly has changed in the last 6 or 7 minutes.
Just a bit. What's become 1 goal out of all that could have easily been 3, which would have given them the encouragement that they needed. Bit of running. Johnson now finally took one in the centre square on the way through. Options galore for him. There's been a bit of change in the tempo and the approach from Freo.
McFarland coming off for a spell for the Dockers. Let's head down to John Barnes' boundary side.
Yeah, Crowley's a little bit crook, guys. He's not too bad. He'll come back on. He's just sitting with the doctor. Looks like he's just got the stuffing knocked out of him.
Just have a look at the forward setups of Fremantle versus Melbourne. There's no potency at all except for Pavlich in the front half for Fremantle.
Last 10 minutes, possessions almost identical. Melbourne just shading the Dockers, which was dramatically different to the opening 15 minutes of the term. There has been a change, a slight shift in tempo. Would have been far more noticeable if they had kicked those other 2 goals that they should have kicked. They would have had 3 on the board in a hurry.
Now Polak's gone forward too, JB, to help that structure.
But at least we're seeing a mindset of creativity now for the Dockers. They're prepared to take a risk and run off half-back. It doesn't always work. They're going to get a free kick, pushing the back. It's coming back to Bell, just as Davey was about to pounce and finish. Bell to Farmer. There's a willingness to get on the bike now, Fremantle. They've lifted the work rate from 55. Goes to Pavlich in the pocket. It was a beautiful kick. Didn't quite hang on. It's still alive. Can he come up with something brilliant? Bends it back, not quite.
So the umpire must have been in a very good spot to see that, but he looked as though he'd taken the ground. It must have bounced on the ground and back into his arms again, because the umpire called immediately play on.
He was boundary side right in that pocket. Let's have a look.
Ball hit the ground.
Call to play on. Green goes short to Carroll. Tone of the game just changing ever so slightly. We haven't seen it on the scoreboard yet because the Dockers have wasted some chances. But something for Fremantle fans certainly to hang their hats on. At the moment, the margin 32 points, but in general play, there's not that big a discrepancy between the teams.
And Melbourne are now doing what they did about 10 or 12 minutes in the first quarter when the momentum had changed. They just slowed it down. Possession game, short possession game.
They just want to be tidy between here and half time. 3 minutes to go. They can regroup without conceding any more to the Dockers. Hazelby and Warren will get the free kick. So the Dockers need some scoreboard return for their last 10 or 12 minutes of investment. Jamar on the wing. It's a combination of being patient and being creative. And we've seen already bombing it in's a low percentage play for them. So they need to work the periphery, as Heath Black's done there. There's going to be a bit of sideways movement to open up some angles. And again, they do it well, except the two collide. Davey comes in, lays a tackle. There's going to be a bit of heart and mouth stuff here. Mundy under pressure. Now the Demons push up in numbers. And they've got men forward to the footy. Robertson, one out with his man. Parker comes at him, but Robertson makes him pay on the rebound.
He was good in Aaron Davey because he knew Robertson was there. All he had to do is just whack it onto his boot.
You take 3 years to create an open space forward line like that when you'd have two blokes clever enough to use it against direct opponents. Got rid of them both, and Robertson's finish again under, bit of pressure, but cool as a cucumber, put it away, unlike the two simpler ones for Freo earlier.
Did Parker sit off him a bit too much? He didn't seem to go at him.
No, you're right.
Let's take a look at Parker here. How should he have played this, David?
Well, I think he should have closed it down a lot earlier than he did. I mean, you're taking your punt, aren't you? I guess the bloke's mobile. He's got to sit a bit and wait, but he needs to close that down a lot earlier than he did.
Demons led by 6 points at quarter time. They now lead by 38 points. There's Chris Connolly in the box. What to think about at half time. Cook. The goal in the first term. Late inclusion in the side. Miller playing in front that time of Pavlich. Here's Bate. Impressive young player. This time pulled off the ball. And he's been pinged. So the Wizards got it. Jeff Farmer kicked the opening goal of the game. His 400th in AFL footy. He'll be shooting from just outside of 50. Goes for the big torpedo. Just wobbles it to the goal square. Chance for the high flyers. Pollock was there. And finally forced through over the line by Whelan.
Just too long to get rid of it then, Jeff Farmer. The options were all closed down.
And the numbers by the time they got back there, you're right. Terrible kick too.
Green brings the ball back into play, goes wide. It's a beautiful looking kick out towards Bell. He's been very, very impressive. Had a great opening term. Hugs the boundary line, squeezes along looking for David Neitz. Got to shove out. Grover says no, not in my 100th game. He's been good today, David Neitz.
He has, yeah. A little bit rusty, but he's been in the right place. He's providing the contest that we want, and they've got to work him off the ball as they did there and give him free kicks away.
Backtracks to Uze. He'll go short to Bell, who can run if he wants to. Just playing keepings off with the Dockers as the time clock ticks away.
Dockers too slow to find their blokes or to find a man. Look, they're getting away all the time. It shouldn't be allowed. They should force them to kick it long.
Less than a minute in this second term left. Can Melbourne work the ball forward? Davey has been an absolute star. He's kicked goals, he's booted three, he's given three away. He has been electrifying today. So the Flash has got it at half-back. Neitz is the target, got him in his sights, off hands. We've got a boundary throw in as the time clock ticks away.
And that's the advantage of that kind of size and shape there. You can't afford to try and mark against him. You're either defending it or free kicking him.
Jeff White taking a spell as Jamar does the ruck work. Davey just moves back onto that left boot. Well done by Shammer. Kept at it. Chance for McDonald as the siren sounds. Well, they've got a lot to think about at half-time, the Dockers. They kicked the first two goals of the match. And since then, they have really, really struggled. 3-7-25. Melbourne 9-8-62.
6 goals 5 to 1 goal 4 in the second term Melbourne's way. A 6-point quarter-time lead translates to a 37-point half-time lead. What have the Dockers got? We'll find out. Back from the G next.
When the final siren sounds, Fox Footy's week of AFL programs is just getting started. Talk back and insight on White Line Fever weeknights.
Why don't you have a manager? Because they rip you off.
Footy's must-see hour of TV on the couch Mondays.
That's about one of the worst things you can have in a football club.
Full team lists first on Fox League teams Thursdays. And then AFL legends Jason Dunstall and Wayne Carey get the weekend underway on Saturday Central.
This is the best game in the world.
It's all live and all exclusive this week on Fox Footy Channel.
It's the bone-crunching granny of 89. Now, Dermy is running across the ground when Mark Yates comes and crunches him from the side. Dave! Dave? He begins to vomit. Yes! Miraculously, he begins to run in slow motion. Later on in the game, Dermy kicks the amazing goal. Yes! No. You all right?
Now's the time to take Mum shopping and get her something she really wants at Harvey Norman. With no deposit, no repayments and no interest for 18 months ending this weekend. Hurry in to get 18 months on your new sofa, dining or home office furniture. 18 months on bedding, bedroom suites and bed linen. 18 months on the latest and greatest in home appliances. 18 months on a new computer, notebook or high-tech entertainment. That's no deposit, no repayments and no interest for 18 months. But hurry, offer must end this weekend. Make sure you go to Harvey Norman now.
Is your dandruff on full blast? Garnier Fructis Fortifying Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. It's proven. So effective, not a trace of a flake. Garnier Fructis Fortifying Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. Give your hair the strength to shine.
It's easy to take control of your home phone bills with Primus Home Cap when you combine your home phone with Primus Broadband. On the $15 cap, you get $50 worth of calls each month. On the $35 cap, you get a huge $120 worth of calls each month. And with Home Cap, you get great call rates on local, national and international calls. Join Primus Home Cap today and save. Call now on 1300 Primus. That's more like it.
Spy. MI6. Undercover.
There are not people that pretend to be James Bond.
Manipulate. Control. Dominate.
He was going to make me make the choice of either shooting my son or watching while he was buried alive.
Deceived. Duped. Conned.
The simple truth is, I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe him.
The Spy Who Conned Me premieres Tuesday, May 23, only on CI.
Monday on Fox Footy.
It's a game of keeping off. I'm scared to kick to a contest.
Have your say at 7:30 as Clint and Gribus hosts White Line Fever. Then, On the Couch delivers hard-hitting opinion from its expert panel.
He's almost a lame duck coach now.
7:30, White Line Fever. 8:30, On the Couch, live and exclusive Monday. This halftime break, brought to you by Hungry Jack's. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Half-time at the MCG on Saturday afternoon football, and it's all Melbourne. They lead by 37 points, 9-8-62. The Dockers 3-7-25. 6 goals 5 to 1 goal 4 in that second term to Melbourne after they led by a goal at the opening change. Uze, Green, Robertson, Davey, all with 2 goals apiece, which says something about the Melbourne attack, David Parkin. They are going forward en masse in waves, and their dominance is not just isolated to a couple of players. It's right across the board in that opening half.
And I think that's what would please Danaher most of all. He's had a completely even contribution. The rucks have been terrific without great opposition. At the clearances, they've been fantastic with Johnstone setting up a lot of their good work, and there was some question over his ability to play today. And then when they got forward, not necessarily having taken big marks, but they have forced the contact. Neitz has been great at that. And at ground level, and a little zip, he's just absolutely fantastic in Davey. And they've converted everything that's come to ground.
Take out the first 2 minutes of the game and it's 9-1 in the opening half to Melbourne. That's a pretty fair indication of their dominance.
Oh, absolutely. And I think Neil would be very, very pleased by the way they did that. When they had lost total control in the first few minutes, they got into changing the tempo by playing possession, short possession and controlled footy, got themselves back on an even keel and just smashed them from that point on. So you'd have to say it's been a terrific team and a very mature effort off the back of a very ordinary beginning.
It's been a very well-balanced team performance too, hasn't it? They've done it well to their structure and to their game plan. They've been patient when they've needed to and they've taken the chances and rolled the dice when it's been appropriate.
I think they did all the right things. White working hard back, taking one of the young bloke into positions which he's not probably very confident doing, so they couldn't use him up. White became, I think, an instrumental player in terms of the structure, and of course Pavlich for the first 20 minutes of the first quarter playing basically as a midfielder, left two men sitting back, making it very hard for Fremantle, who did get it in, Jason, often. They got it in as much, I think, as Melbourne, but couldn't get a result for any of it.
As a coach, how much emphasis do you place on momentum in a game, and how easy is it within the coach's box when you're looking at something from such a microscopic distance and really analysing everything in the game? Do you get an overall feel for momentum in a game of footy?
I think that's crucial, and if you can't, you shouldn't be probably doing the job at that level.
So do you think Neil Danaher would have had a sense in the last 10 to 15 minutes of that second term that Melbourne either just took the foot off a tiny little bit or Fremantle up the work rate?
Jason, the time that you started to call it in the box, probably before I needed you in my box in those days, but you started to call that. I'm sure that Neil and his coaches would have been aware, and I think the players are too. We forget that we educate them to understand that, and if we're educating them to understand that, then they will be doing it even without direction from the box. And I reckon that probably happened today, and that makes Melbourne a much more mature team than I would have suggested they were.
Good solid performance from the D's in the first half. They lead by 37 points. Back to take a look at things from a Freo perspective right after this.
This Mother's Day, why not sit back and watch the nice young men from the Kangaroos in Adelaide go to war? Sunday, live from 3 o'clock, 4 vital points are on the line at the Dome as the Shinboners throw everything at the Mercurial Crows. Press red to go Fox Footy active for this critical Round 7 blockbuster. Your Sunday on Fox Footy looks like this. Kangaroos Crows live from 3, then the Winners Weekend Wrap, Blues Bombers and Power Bulldogs.
Come on, come on, get there, you can do it, go, come on, yes,
Watch the NRL with Big Pond on your 3G mobile.
Imagine creating more for less. You can with HP. Now you'll easily create twice as many beautiful quality prints using the same amount of ink as other brands. So every time you print, you'll save money. At HP, we call this fuel-efficient printing.
Watch your heads, guys.
Dad!
I wish we had a bigger car.
Oh, hi. I am a GE Money Genie, and I can help, because with a GE Money personal loan, you can have the four-wheel drive you've been wishing for. Our personal loans start at just 8.74% per annum, and you can apply in a blink.
Come on, get there, you can do it, go, come on, yes,
Watch the AFL with Big Pond on your 3G mobile.
For these four young friends, life was simply paradise.
I got everything I need right here.
But the discovery of an ancient treasure
We're gonna be rich people.
leads to deeper waters.
Buy something? Yeah.
Do you think we should tell someone?
They're drug dealers, Sam. They're not missionaries.
You found my plane, didn't you? I want it back.
12 hours' time.
Paul Walker.
100 million sits in a plane.
I'm not joking. Jessica Alba. How much would you risk?
I'm going off footing with you.
With what? When you have everything to lose.
It's not over yet.
Into the Blue. Watch it now, only on Foxtel Box Office.
One AFL show soars above the rest with its guest list.
Andrew Demetrio, our special guest, Bobber Thompson.
I want to be more open this year, but I don't want to be that open.
Nathan Eagleton, the Ball Band. The Reverend Neil Danaher.
You beauty.
On Alistair Clarkson, Bombers coach Kevin Shooty.
I can see why people would have thought that, because I managed to do it myself.
Do what, yourself?
Hit people.
And its expert panel's fearless critique of the game.
There was nothing short of disgraceful in the first quarter. I think he was pig-headed.
On the Couch, Monday, live and exclusive from 8:30 Eastern on Fox Footy.
Half-time at the MCG, Melbourne by 37 points. Jason Bennett and David Parker looking at things now from a Fremantle perspective. And this afternoon's a classic example of why I find the Fremantle Dockers such a fascinating football club, because
frustrating or
fascinating, call it what you will, but the gap between their peaks and their troughs is just so substantial, and there's no advance notice which way they're going to go.
No, we couldn't have predicted that. 7 or 8 minutes of the game, they've come to play. They're playing good controlled footy and getting a score on the board, and what dissipated after that has become absolutely a nothing game for them was not predictable, and I think that's very sad from the supporters' point of view, even more sadder and difficult from their coaching staff point of view, because I don't think you can anticipate it. They would have come here, Chase, with a game plan to play. I know they've been knocked about structurally by personnel not available, but who is going to stand up now and deliver against what the expectation was? I cannot find the group of players, and it can't be one or two, it's got to be a group of players who can actually get them out of a hole. It's a 6-goal deficit at half-time. Don't tell me that doesn't play unmercifully on players' minds.
From a coaching perspective, there's two elements, isn't there? There's the game plan and the endeavour to execute the game plan. From what we've seen today, the problem seems to be more endeavour than the actual game plan itself.
No doubt about it, and they came out with a effervescence. We said it was like opening the Coke bottle. It fuzzed out, but it disappeared. And I think they've had a pretty tough couple of weeks emotionally and physically in terms of their game, so maybe it started to take a bit of toll, because they cannot match Melbourne's intensity, and then on top of that, Melbourne have been superior in every aspect of the game.
The only positive Fremantle had was in that last 10 minutes, the numbers started to even themselves up, and just the tempo and the tone of the game did as well. You look down the bottom, inside 50s, 22-27. The Dockers actually winning the clearances, winning the inside 50s as well, which suggests it isn't a game plan issue, it's just going to be an execution issue and an intensity issue.
But they've been freaky goals, haven't they? Melbourne have set theirs up in a much better way. They've scored them easier in the sense of, putting it through the goal. I haven't seen any real method once they've got into 50, despite the numbers, to actually set up a winning score. You'd have to say they're going to struggle like mad to get back into this game, and it would be some sort of a miracle, I would suggest, if they were to get up and take the points.
Having said all that, I still reckon they're a chance. It's 37 points of difference at half-time. They're not gone yet, the Dockers, but you'd certainly rather be in those rooms at half-time, wouldn't you? Back with the third quarter right after this from the MCG.
Hungry Jack's half-time break. The second half is always better at Hungry Jack's. Coming up after the game, AFL legends Jason Dunstone and Wayne Carey are back with Saturday Central live and exclusive. Get a full wrap of today's games, more exclusive interviews, plus a look ahead to the rest of round 7. Saturday Central, right after the game.
It's easy to take control of your home phone bills with Primus Home Cap when you combine your home phone with Primus Broadband. On the $15 cap, you get $50 worth of calls each month. On the $35 cap, you get a huge $120 worth of calls each month. And with Home Cap, you get great call rates on local, national and international calls. Join Primus Home Cap today and save. Call now on 1300 Primus. That's more like it.
Whatever code of footy you're into, Rebel Sport have got you covered. We're your one-stop supporter shop. If your passion is AFL, you'll find everything you need in store, including official team Guernseys, polos, caps, scarves, beanies, towels, balls, mugs, beers, car accessories and more. Get out there and show your true colours in style with a great range of AFL supporter merchandise available. And all at the lowest prices, guaranteed. Rebel Sport, your football destination. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
There's a lot more action at Rebel Sport. Rebel Sport.
Looking for structural plywood cut to size and delivered? A great range of modular solution kitchens from as little as $39.90, or to build your dream boat, we have all your needs covered and a team that delivers.
Mr. Plywood, where the trade go, 'cause they know.
It's okay. Lightning doesn't strike twice. We're leaving this house in 60 seconds. Get in there, you're gonna die. Okay. They've been planning this for a million years. This is not a war. This is an extermination.
Are we still alive?
War of the Worlds starts Thursday, May 18, only on Foxtel Box Office.
Join us on Tuesday for a pie who never kicked a goal.
Oh, a very tough defender in Lee Adamson.
Plus a man that played in the back line for Hawthorn known as Rubber.
Yes, David O'Halloran.
Then relive the 1994 Collingwood-North Melbourne clash with Ron Barassi. All part of your legendary Tuesday night lineup on Fox Footy.
Half-time at the MCG. Two teams about to re-enter the arena, and it's Melbourne by 37 points at the major break. Then 9-8-62. Fremantle, very disappointing Fremantle, 3-7-25. As we head down to John Barnes' boundary side.
Yeah, look, Jace, it's meant to be 16 degrees, but I don't know where that's going to come from, mate. I'm absolutely freezing down here. I've donned the jacket. It's about 14 degrees. The conditions are still perfect. And look, I just think that the Melbourne Footy Club are absolutely dominating this game. Their rucks have taken over. I think the Fremantle will have to start roving to White and Jamar and just take a risk and get some run happening. They just can't keep bombing in the way they are.
Thanks, Barnesy. Well, gentlemen, what can they do? What has Chris Connolly said to them at half-time? Because, David, one thing to change your structure and change your game plan, you can switch things around on the magnetic board, but to try and create endeavour and momentum and intensity is a whole different prospect.
Well, it'll be the appeal to the players to the greatest risk, as we always say, is not to take a risk. They need to take some. It may not be the making of them, but without that, we had it in the game last night with St Kilda. The only times when it was difficult, they were behind on the scoreboard, that they looked like they were a chance, so they started to take multiple risks when they had possession of the ball.
Kevin, we saw Byron Pickett take out Ryan Crowley with a heavy hit. Crowley went to the boundary, and we'll get an update from Barnesy shortly, or the rules guru. Talk us through it.
Well, of course, what happens here was he was close enough to the action. People will say you want to take the bump out of the game, and football is a physical game.
You're happy with that?
Did he expect contact? Look, Byron Pickett's fine there. He's absolutely fine there because the bump's in the game. Would he expect contact? Was he in the vicinity of the play where, contact could be expected? Yes, he was, because players do come in, they do shepherd, and they do bump. Was it unnecessary force? Well, he did hit hard, but, there's no rule against bumping under the circumstances that he bumped in. So Byron Pickett has got no concern about that one.
Happy to hear it. One other game of round 7 action this afternoon. It's at the Telstra Dome between Richmond and Sydney. Replays coming up on Fox Footy, so if you don't want to know the score, look away now. endeavour, David Parkin. It wasn't just Captain Cook's boat. It's something that coaches have been trying to bottle for more than a century. How do you generate it?
Well, you can make an emotional appeals, but they will know, this group of players, and they become reasonably proud, despite what we call a terrible difference between their best and their worst, which I think is quite sad and I guess it's what's the word?
Frustrating.
It has frustrated everybody associated with football, not just those who barrack for Fremantle. But they'll get themselves together. We would first like to see an intensity about their play, which they brought to the game but dissipated very quickly. And I guess somebody putting their hand up. I mean, individual players, 3, 4 or 5 of them putting their hands up and saying, I'm not going to cop this. I'm going to do something off my own bat which will lift the spirits of everybody. And you hope that then that invades the team mentally. But, gosh, a 6-goal deficit, I said before, is pretty hard. But I'll start the scoreboard again. I say lock on 0-0 now. Let's see if we can get ourselves back into the game and make a real game of this. And Melbourne, you would suggest, will at least be tested in the second half by a team that knows what they haven't done to this point.
Everything's got to go right for the Dockers. 37 points down. They have to attack. It's as simple as that. When you're 37 points down, you can't defend. You must attack. And that last goal that they gave up, KB, when they were chipping it around and trying to create, they're going to have to do a bit of that. And there's going to be some pain along the way. They may concede some goals in the process, but they've got to be creative.
But you've got to get some urgency into your game. And that is in all aspects of the game. That's in moving the ball, getting back off the mark quickly, just getting the ball as fast as you can down the field, players from behind running hard, urgency when you chase and when you tackle, when you man up. Too many times the ball goes into Melbourne's forward line and you see Melbourne players with, a space about 20-25 metres between them and their man. So someone's running hard. It's Melbourne and it's not the Dockers. I agree, and the only structural change I can see is adding Peter Bell to their front half. The rest, unless that's Johnson down there too, 37. So that's Michael Johnson's gone forward and Peter Bell in there too.
And Polak forward as well. 37 points the margin at half-time as we start the third term. Let's head down to John Barnes and get a quick update on Ryan Crowley. Barnesy.
Yeah, look, Jace, I was just speaking to Stephen Nick, the bench manager, and he said he's on his way to hospital maybe. He's just got a pretty bad knock to the head.
Secondary bounce in the middle. Warren flew high over the top. Here's Carr. He's the sort of player that they need to get up and about. A creator. Black wrapped up. Have a bounce. Some of Josh Carr's physical presence is called for right now to give the players around him a bit of a G up.
And hasn't had a great impact on this game like he did last week.
They look flat, the Dockers, after their Western Classic last week. It was always going to be a danger for them. They need to lift. Black harassed. Have another bounce.
Peter Bell has come immediately out of the forward line to become another on-baller, leaving with only 5 forwards, 2 of which are Johnson and Polak.
Shammer. Davey got a hand in there. Here's Carr again, trying to bustle his way through, but nothing doing in there.
26 players in that particular contest makes it hard work for anybody.
Pretty gloomy day at the MCG. Lights are on. Can the Freo Dockers light up in the second half? McDonald. They need a good start. Grover attacks it. Neitz on his shoulder. Neitz kept his feet. McFarlane wrapped him up, which was important. Just as David Neitz threatened to emerge from the congestion. Melbourne can snuff this out if they can get a couple of quick goals, you'd think. Green, Soccer's off the deck, out of bounds on the full. Dockers need some momentum.
And it's interesting that White would start the second half on the bench. I think that's an interesting point of where they are at the moment.
Matthew Carr. Awkward looking kick, but it should work for them. Dodd dropped the mark. It's got Pickett to beat at ground level. They'll have a throw in on centre wing. So pretty flat opening 2 minutes in the third term. So the two teams just look to get up and going again. There is Jeff White.
Melbourne, I would suggest, are just going to sit on them. Hope that Coke can dissipates again as it did in the first quarter.
McDonald, Black. Nothing going on here in the opening 2.5 minutes.
It needs a big man or a third man up to belt it out of this and get some openness forward for either side would help at this stage.
That's what they've got in reserve. Cook, Mundy and Duffield. Hazelby towards Polak. Can someone stand up and lead by example? Carr run down. We'll have another throw in, yet another stoppage, Kevin. Help us.
We've got to give credit to Melbourne because they're really switched on, Melbourne. They've come off a fantastic 3 weeks against Sydney, against the Kangaroos, against Geelong. This is out of sorts for Fremantle. They were good against Adelaide. We know about the game against St Kilda, and they were very good against West Coast. But the Demons have been able today to keep that momentum up and going. I mean, they are hot to trot, and this man, Aaron Davey, has been an absolute star. Still, he's got the ball in front of Walker. Goes short, finds Neitz. Back in the side, he's added a lot to the Demons today. Bruce just paddles the ball long in front, taken away by Shammer. Here's Dodd. He's had the job on Cameron Bruce all day. Heath Black comes cross half back, goes short. Finds Polak, who hammers the ball deep. Pavlich is one of their big winners up forward. He's got it. He can kick a goal. He stands and delivers from 35 metres out and hammers it home. 20 possessions to Matthew Pavlich, that man on screen. And that just might be enough to ignite the Dockers.
Well, and it was a good effort in a sense. Polak kick was a terrible kick in my opinion. It sat up for about 15 minutes coming into a 2-on-1 situation. How good was Pavlich to actually win it out of that two, win the contest there, bring it down to his advantage, spin and kick a very good goal under pressure. That's what you talk about, somebody standing up. Maybe it's Pavlich who's going to kick a half dozen in the second half.
Just the poise to balance himself. He realised he had that second as we head down to John Barnes' boundary side.
Yeah, Freo's put Michael Johnstone down in their forward line now to pick up the Melbourne loose. So obviously a one-on-one there, guys.
So there's Polak deep. Medhurst down there. Johnson, Pavlich, Farmer. There's plenty of scoring power down there if they can get it in and get it in quickly. Dodd to Farmer, looks to do exactly that. Whelan versus Farmer. Important 5 or 10 minutes coming up here. McDonald to Johnston. Now to McLean, who slipped forward of Shammer. McLean from 60. Tumbles a kick inside. McFarlane's gone back. He's one-on-one with Dunn. Should have taken possession and has just given up a free kick.
That was dopey play.
An academic and McFarlane. Academics, they make those sort of decisions.
So Dunn from the boundary line. This for Melbourne just to reassert their dominance again. Tries to work it back across the face. Minor score. Dunn with 2 behinds in game number 2 for the youngster from Moonee Valley.
McLean's kick going in and Dunn's kick at goal both to stand about 2 out of 10, I reckon, for both of those.
Dockers play the huddle. Shammer goes short to the breaking Dodd. This is the urgency Kevin's talking about, getting back off the mark, moving the ball quickly, running hard to create something. Unrewarded running, our friend Stan Elves calls it, and it's a very good term. Pavlich did exactly that. It was rewarded on this occasion. Now Johnson's done the same thing. That's good football from Michael Johnson to run hard, 60 metres to present. Now Medhurst does it as well. Suddenly the Dockers move the ball fluently. He's 70 metres from goal. Melbourne have got numbers back. There's still space for the Dockers to lead into. Carr now breaks to the pocket. Medhurst decides to bomb it high and long. Farmer at the back's taken out and will get a free kick. Chance for Farmer to go back and kick another for the Dockers.
It was not a good one for Whelan to give up on. There was no way Noam Farmer was going to influence that contest at the time. I thought it was not a smart decision to interfere with him.
Take out the last goal that Melbourne scored just before half-time from a Fremantle turnover, and they've had the better of play, no doubt, in the last 20 minutes of this game. They need to put it on the board. This for Jeffrey's second. And he does. Farmer's got 2. The margin back to 26 points. 7 minutes gone. Third term at the G. Here's David Parkin on Saturday afternoon football.
And a fantastic run by Pavlich. Not only kicked the previous one, but Pavlich has run just outside the defensive 50 for a receive. He's kicked it beautifully to Johnson at half forward, who squared the thing. I mean, it's been good, positive footy once they've got hold of the ball.
The Dockers have dragged it back to a 26-point ball game. 5-7-37. The Demons 9-9-63. That man on screen has booted 2 goals. Jeff Farmer, 1 goals in his career. Here's McDonald, does a 360. Can't quite get his boot to the ball. Travis Johnson wraps up Heath Black in the tackle.
Oh, no.
And he's been pinged. Umpire McLaren says no attempt to handball or kick the ball. Goes wide to Brock McLean. One of their midfield guns, the playmaker. Hammers the ball in. Here's a chance. Nearly taken one-hander was Neitz. Was he held? Pounced on this time by Robertson. Kicks a high ball. Lands in the pocket. Chance for Davey. He looks dangerous. Thornton. He's got 2 to beat. Great hands that time by Uze. Goes short, sets it up. Coming out was Pickett. Couldn't take it. Robertson on hands and knees. Here's Bartram. Just rips the ball out of the hands. And finally, we've got a ball up 40 metres out from goal.
There's a great little struggle at this moment in the game. We talk about who's got momentum. I think it's perfectly poised at this point.
It's an Indian arm wrestle. Can the Dockers mount a challenge? Jamar wins the loose ball. That's a good sign. Thornton taken over the line by McDonald. 9-9-63 the Demons. The Dockers 5-7-37. They trail by 26 points after Melbourne led by 37 points at half-time and 6 points at quarter-time. Green, one of Melbourne's best players in the first half. He's had 16 possessions. And again, the ball is forced over the line for a boundary throw-in. Mundy and Troy Cook warming up on the boundary line. It's a boundary throw-in, a good 70 metres out from Melbourne's goal. Here's a chance. Trying to tickle the ball. Hales will be picked up by Pickett. This could bounce through. This could bounce through. Byron Pickett kicks the goal.
That's the one that Fremantle didn't want, did they? And it's good that the two Indigenous boys have been pretty exciting today. Not only the way they've got about winning it, but their usage has been just a class above most other people. That was a sensational effort to win it, receive it, and put it away. And Melbourne have been smart here. Jamar stayed on for quite some time. White is still on the bench and not been replaced. Might be smart if it's a close finish to have the run in the big man legs.
Crucial goal for the D's. A steadier gets them back out to 32 points in front. Byron Pickett with the finish. Warren takes it out of the middle. Dockers want a quick reply. Farmer got rid of the football, taken down by Whelan. Play on the call. Johnson tries to flip it out to Bell. He's confronted, gets it to Carr, through traffic, now Bell, now Black, he's a left footer from the angle, across the face, it's still there for Hazelby, got it! Free kick push, Melbourne. Free kick going to Daniel Bell, who's been impressive. Possession 13 coming up for him. Kick out towards White, who's got a couple of metres on Johnson and takes an athletic grab. He's got Carroll, who's broken away in the middle of the ground. Polak will track him back. Kick hangs tall. Carroll did the right thing in making the run. The kick just not suited. And Polak turns it around. Dodd has got Shammer short. Could go inboard to Mundy. Decides to thump it long inside 50. There's Johnson all alone. Michael Johnson. Playing game number 18. He's kicked 2 goals straight in his career.
Might be a massively good move, this one, of putting Johnson forward. But Polak's run, Polak worked over 40 or 50 metres to get back and take the mark in front. That was fantastic. But they also ran back the total distance of the kick and protected the man who eventually took the mark in Johnson.
Very likely tight, Michael Johnson. What can he do in front of goal? I knew that'd fix him. Opportunity goes begging for the Dockers, and they've got to take everything that comes their way and a little bit more. We played 12 minutes in the third term. Melbourne by 32 points. They led by 6 at the first change, 37 at half time. Johnston short. Good hard run from James McDonald to provide an option. That's what it's been all about on the wide expanses for the MCG today. The side that's been prepared to work hard and run hard has been rewarded. And for the majority of the contest, that's been Melbourne. McLean. Maloney works hard to get off his man. Thornton could cut this off. Need to get it in quickly. Johnson's tracking back towards the goal square. Kick heads in that direction. That's a very good mark. A very good mark. And he'll have another go from 25 metres out.
JB Thornton read that really well, didn't he? To get backwards again, as Pollock did before, to cut off a kick that wasn't meant for him, get it on quickly. We talked about the quickness of movement, gave Johnson a reasonable chance, 1 or 2 out. He's taken a strong mark, and hopefully he'll do better than he did with the last one.
Is it playing on his mind? Can he put it behind him? Johnson close to the man on the mark, but kicks the goal. He gets his first. The Dockers still breathing. We've played 13.5 minutes, third term. The margin back to 26 points.
And they're looking better doing it. This is not just a fluke thing. I think, Kevin, their intensity has gone up. Their urgency, intensity has gone up. Their usage has got better. They're working harder, as JB said before, to make themselves available. They've got back in defence to load up. I mean, it's been a very good turnaround compared with what they were producing before the half-time interval.
Played just on 14 minutes in this third term. 3 goals to 1 in favour of the Dockers. Johnson now doing the ruck work. Taken away by McDonald. Toppens his eyes, or he just booted a goal. Here's Davey. He's been the danger man all day. Another clever tap on. Finds Byron Pickett. He's got to get around Shammer. Retreats and backtracks. Conceded ground to Travis Johnson. That was a rare mistake with his kicking. Just too much carry on the ball, but here's the flash. Runs into a roadblock in the shape of Peter Bell. Taken away by Bartram. One of the young guns strutting his stuff for the Demons now with some strength. Neitz beaten by Mundy. Didn't quite hit a target. Maloney on hands and knees. Taps out. Just a quick pick. Dodd to Mundy. Wrapped up in the tackle that time. Davies a great chaser and tackler. Walker squeezed up on the boundary line. It's tough and close. Flexing the muscles and blowing up the biceps. In the clinches. Bruce. Back to Uze. Kicks a high ball. One for the Brave. Thornton has the ball slapped away. Loose ball again, taken away by Dodd. Looking for a little bit of space, looking for a little bit of time. Right on Cowboy, and he's got the free kick. McFarlane is the loose player. He can run, he can create, and if the player runs with the ball, he'll make his teammates run as well. Goes wide, and that's what he's done because Pavlich has got it on his chest. Possession number 21.
Gee, that was good running from Pavlich.
Wheels around onto the right boot. Penetrating kick. Great kick. Danger here for Melbourne. They're looking for a crumb. Johnson. Can he kick a goal? He's got it. The Dockers are alive, David.
Kevin, the coach can take a rap. I'm saying I can't think of a structure. I can't think of individual players that I know that club reasonably well, who's going to be able to lift up and know that there's been a couple. The captain has led the way as a leader should. Pavlich has been fantastic in his work, his presentation, and his use of the ball has been terrific. And young Johnson's just done some very, very special things in the opposite end, down the front half. 2 goals. You know, it's just lifted the whole, morale of the team at the moment. They look like they're not a second-rate visit to the MCG today.
2 goals to Michael Johnson. The Dockers with more football in this third term. 46-32 the possessions. 20 points of difference, and it's game on again at the MCG. Parker to half forward, a 2-on-1. Pavlich has been magnificent with his work rate. McDonald tidies up. 10 tackles for James McDonald today, which is an extraordinary effort from him. Johnston to Whelan. Now it's the D's looking a bit flat-footed and a bit static and a bit reactionary. Bruce, good strong grab. Johnston peels off, offers an option short and wide. Bruce doesn't like it. He'll go deeper to Robertson. Look at that vertical leap. Couldn't quite bring it down though. Parker did well. Here's Johnson working up the ground. Matthew Carr. Suddenly the Dockers are getting busy. Cook. Pavlich versus Carroll. Carroll did well to work him off it. At ground level. Coming through was Rivers. He's got some support. Green. Miller. Now Uze. Sounds like the Ross Glendinning medal presentation. Inside 50. Robertson and Neitz over the top. Play on the call. Davey. Johnston at 50, got past Michael Johnson from the boundary line. Travis Johnston, beautiful kick, and it will be a goal. You would think Neitz just has to think his way through it from less than a metre out.
I love that when a bloke like Uze carries the ball, gives road directions to everybody else. I just need you over here. Just go over there and I'll give it to you. And finally somebody went where he pointed and he gave him the ball.
Captain to kick a steadier. Could walk right up to Grover and just pop it over his head, which he does. Skipper gets his second.
Well, I reckon David Neitz has answered that question during the week. A lot of people are saying, is Melbourne a better side without David Neitz? The answer to that is no. They're a much better side with David Neitz.
Absolutely. And I said early in the first half of the game, his contest for the ball makes it imperative that people knock it away, and they've got the people at ground level. If they're a marking side only, then he might struggle, but they have the people at ground level off those contests to live off him. So you'd have to say he's justified his selection and the belief that the coach has in him.
Demons by 26 points. We've played just on 19 minutes into this third term, and that man on screen, the skipper's booted 2 goals. Johnstone has been fantastic for the Dockers. He's kicked a couple of goals in this term. He's doing the ruck work. He's been a force up forward. You find him down back. He's had it 16 times as McLean hammers the ball inside 50. A lot of Melbourne players around the ball. There's Bruce. He's had Dodd as his shadow all day. Kicks a high ball back. He's got a loose player. Dunn. One of his rare mistakes today. Quick to recover. He's looking for Bartram. Backing back. That took a lot of courage. That came from Duffield. Wasn't rewarded. Here's Uze. Squeezed up on the boundary line. Neitz. Playing in front. His confidence is growing. Here's a chance for Robertson.
If you looked up and saw those two players, when it's Jamar and Robertson sitting out in their own like that, he kicked it to heaven and back. It took 20 minutes to get there. There was no doubt he was going to get it in the finish. Jamar was running around and somersaulting and spinning and turning and doing everything in his power. Couldn't get a hand anywhere near it. Robertson took virtually a chest mark in the finish.
Going for his third goal. He booted 2 goals in the second term. Robinson hits the woodwork.
Maybe the rub of the green's changing.
Well, they're in a position to put him away. The Dockers are on the ropes and they can give them a knockout punch at 27 points of difference into time on in the third. Hazelby's down at centre-half back in that huddle. There's a bit of push and shove going on. Back to that shortly. The ball's on centre wing with Cook. Now to Dodd. Need to move it on quickly. Duffield the target. Couldn't take the mark. Almost got it. Gains possession at ground level. Now Matthew Carr. Need a meaningful entry into 50. Thornton's run hard to create an option. Miller coming the other way. Miller did well. Kicks to a one-on-one. Uze against McLean, who's been flat today. They need a lift from him. Duffield. Warren back to Duffield. They're at their best when they can charge off half-back. They're not at their best when they kick to Troy Cook, trying for an overhead mark. Maloney. Robertson again, couldn't hang on. Big collision of bodies between Carr and Neitz. Ball spills free. Uze working with Parker at ground level. Grover to Shammer. Good second effort from Robertson, affected the kick. Dodd came the other way, works in with Shammer. Now Carr, he's wrapped up by Bate, tries to get the hands free. Bruce did beautifully to spin through the tackle. Inside 50, here's Flash at ground level. Can he come up with something magic? Just misses.
Like everybody in the ground, I thought he was going to do it again. The degree of difficulty was just beyond his reach, but gosh, it was a good effort.
Walker to Shammer. The Dockers here need a goal in reply because Melbourne are circling to land the killer blow. Dockers just need to get 1 or 2 before three-quarter time. They've got 5 minutes to do it. Kick towards Johnson, who's been mighty in the third term. Pavlich. Cook. Looking for a target inside 50. Sets Farmer a task. Medhurst down there as well. Farmer will get there first. Impossible angle. Impossible angle, but the ball's still alive. Rivers concedes, and here's John Barnes, boundary side.
Yeah, Hazelby's got current coming out of his left ear from that bingle down at some half-back before.
Here's Byron off half-back.
On the rebound, the Demons through Pickett. Spears the ball in. Robertson banged him on the chest. Dunn, cool under pressure. Just waited and waited and found Bartram. Some fine young players, Melbourne. Bartram, Maloney and Bell and Dunn and Bate and McLean and Davey. They're a side on the rise. Neitz stands his ground in front. Big pack of players. Melbourne's been very dangerous at ground level. Cook. They'll just share the ball around. Taken away by Black. Comes away from half back. Wants to go for a trot. 2 bounces. He wants someone to lead. He gets it from Medhurst. He was looking further afield. I think Johnston's a little bit tired. He's done a lot in this third term. He's going to be the target this time. Getting back is Miller. Read it well to the dropping ball. Pickett wants it very, very wide. He gets to hurry on, but he doesn't have to move. If he doesn't want to. Finds Bate. He's at half back. 11-11, 77 plays, 7-8, 50. It's a 27-point ball game.
They've become a bit reactionary again, the Dockers, haven't they? Gone back into their shells.
Bate takes it from Miller. He's looking for Pickett. Wants to concede ground. Finds Robertson, just pops it out in front. Bate can run onto the ball, needs a kind bounce. And he can run. And he can drill it. Looking for Bruce, does well. Slaps the ball on, looking for Green. Takes it over line. We've got a boundary throw in, some 60 metres away from Melbourne's goal.
There's some very tired players, aren't there, walking now, where they're just moving up and down the ground en masse now. There's a lot of stationary blokes walking between contests.
White wins the tap out. It was well done to Bate. He's looking for support. Did a 360. Chance for Bell at ground level. Finds Duffield wrapped up in the tuckle. Dumped that time by Pickett. He's gone.
Bit harsh, I thought. He did hand pass. Might have been slow to get it away, but I think he should have at least a little time.
Big Byron unloads with a high ball. Here comes big Jamar. He's got it. You can see him coming, David. And every now and then he just jumps over the top of the pack.
He took one at the beginning of the game and has taken one at the finish. You think, well, wish he'd take half a dozen of those between. But that was an outstanding judgment of a ball that went, via the Uranus, really, before it got here.
From directly in front, just 25 metres out. Kicks a big goal for Melbourne.
Well, is it Parker, the man who was sending? I think it might have been Parker who was trying to get at him. It's a huge size differential there, isn't it?
But this is a new aspect to his game. Over the last couple of weeks, just taking a big grab in the goal square. Melbourne's lacked that in the past. If it hasn't been David Neitz, it really hasn't been anyone.
No, that's absolutely right.
They've got a lot of improving players, Melbourne.
Yep.
All of a sudden, believing in themselves.
And playing good football at such a young age, and with the bodies that go with it, Kevin. You pointed that out. They're good, strong athletes as well as being good footballers. You named about 6 or 7 of them who've got a heck of a lot more developing to come from them.
33 points the margin. More from David Parkin's astronomy classes shortly. Grover. Now to Duffield. Looks for Mundy, has to wait underneath it. Bate arrives, makes the running, wins the football, gives it to McLean. Now to Pickett. Wants to sell the dummy on Black. Black's got him, done well. That's surely holding the ball, it is. Let's head down to Johnny Barnes' boundary side.
Yeah, Hasley's come off, guys, with that blood rule, and then Pickett just give Black a jab to the jaw as well.
So here's Heath Black. I think Heath might have given him one first, just quietly.
Got to see it both ways, Johnny.
Here's Shammer. Goes to 50. Johnson again with a couple to beat. It clears the contest. At the back, plenty of numbers there for Melbourne. White to Davey. Across his body to Whelan. Dunn's got some space on McLean, who's constantly lagged about 20 metres behind him. Over the top to Bruce. Running hard is Bartram, who's got a couple of metres on Dodd. That hard work's honoured now. Bartram marks 60 from goal. Can go to Robertson in the pocket against Grover. Grover did well, got it to the line, not quite. Robertson, boot to ball, but not effective. Mundy. Sting just gone out of the game the last couple of minutes with those Melbourne goals. Walker to Dodd. Fremantle got to load up and go again. They're a chance now through Cook. 18 seconds remaining till three-quarter time. Goes the short option to Polak. Needs to get it on the boot quickly. Must get it on the boot quickly. Isn't getting it on the boot quickly. Won't get it on the boot quickly. Three-quarter time at the MCG. The Dockers came out, lifted the tempo. Melbourne responded. In the end, the Dockers win the quarter by just 4 points. They led by 37 at half-time, the D's. The margin at three-quarter time, 33. Melbourne 12-11-83. Fremantle 7-8-50. The D's with a string of goal kickers. Neitz, Uze, Green, Robertson and Davey all with 2 apiece. While Farmer and Johnstone 2 apiece for the Fremantle Dockers.
After what was a very, what would you say, necessary revival, that last few seconds probably said where they've got to. Johnson has worked very hard and he had to do it all. A as a forward and kick the goals, get on the ball and run around, drop back in the back line and win it. I mean, he was the one bloke who stand game, but it got to Polak out there. He was outside 50. 7 options in forward, not one of them made a lead.
Three-quarter time at the G. Melbourne by 33 points.
Coming up after the game, AFL legends Jason Dunstall and Wayne Carey are back with Saturday Central live and exclusive. Get a full wrap of today's games, more exclusive interviews, plus a look ahead to the rest of round 7. Saturday Central, right after the game.
Here in Melbourne to relive a classic footy moment that has it all.
Now, who else could give us all this?
Who else but the maestro? Hey,
James.
Yeah.
Guys.
All right, so it's Essendon 131, West Coast 131. 30 minutes and 48 seconds gone.
Umpire doesn't ball up and it's on.
He's got it.
Hey, maybe Melbourne should have kicked out. Not the umpire, I'm bully. Bully gets it out the head. Wait, the fairy tale's complete. James Hard, you are again. Yes. Get Hard.
Now's the time to take Mum shopping and get her something she really wants at Harvey Norman. With no deposit, no repayments and no interest for 18 months ending this weekend. Hurry in to get 18 months on your new sofa, dining or home office furniture. 18 months on bedding, bedroom suites and bed linen. 18 months on the latest and greatest in home appliances. 18 months on a new computer, notebook or high-tech entertainment. That's no deposit, no repayments and no interest for 18 months. But hurry, offer must end this weekend. Make sure you go to Harvey Norman now.
Is your dandruff on full blast? Turning people off? Garnier Fructus Fortifying Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. Created with pyrithium zinc. It blows dandruff flakes away. It's proven. Garnier Fructus makes hair up to 5 times stronger and so much shinier. So effective, not a trace of a flake. Kiss those flakes goodbye. Garnier Fructus Fortifying Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. Give your hair the strength to shine.
I don't go around saying I'm the world's best athlete, but I do know that if I step in the ring with Anthony Mundine, he's one opponent that I'm very confident of knocking out. It's as simple as that.
4 days to go. Anthony Mundine v. Danny Green. See it live at home next Wednesday, May 17 at 5 p.m.
Wednesday on Headliners, footy goes national.
It was a traumatic period. Amazing trauma.
As the cash-strapped VFL struggles for long-term prosperity, a bold decision is declared. Move South Melbourne to Sydney.
South Melbourne club would have gone bankrupt. We thought playing in the red and white somewhere was better than not playing at all.
But the Swans' relocation was initially riddled with unrest.
It was absolute chaos there for a while.
Get the story behind the story on the birth of the Sydney Swans. Wednesday, exclusive to Headliners.
Three-quarter time at the MCG on Saturday afternoon football, and it's Melbourne by 33 points. They've led at every change by 6, by 37 and by 33 after kicking 3 goals 3 to 4 goals 1 in that third term. String of players with 2 goals apiece on both sides. As we head boundary side, here's John Barnes.
Travis Johnson did most of the midfield talking for the Melbourne Footy Club, as along did most of the other players in their respective groups. Chris Connolly got the players together real early and gave them a bit of a spray. And I think the problem that Melbourne at Freo have got, that Melbourne's still got another loose player down in the Freo's forward line. They just can't sort of combat that. So I think that's Freo's problem for this quarter. They're just going to try and man up that Melbourne loose player.
And to quote the great philosopher, Commissioner Eric Lassard out of Police Academy in the third term, it was Johnson's as far as the eye can see, and what a sight it was. Michael Johnson standing up in that third quarter. He did it in the ruck, he went forward, kicked a couple of goals. He's a real upside.
Oh, and I didn't think he had those credentials, because he wasn't what's the word, embarrassed around the grounders either. He made a terrific individual, I guess, lifting input for their team. And Chris would have been happy about the change of structure. They threw a few people around. I reckon the intensity went up for a while. All that a coach could have asked for, but Melbourne have been able to weather that storm. I think have come back and were quite easily in control by the end of the quarter.
Set to go, final term at the MCG. 33 points the margin. Warren in the ruck against White. White wins the tap. Mundy comes charging off the back edge of the square. Kicks it long inside 50. Big pack of players underneath this one. Carroll at the back has a fumble. Farmer lurking with intent. Miller goes the soccer. Michael Johnson tries to wrap him up. Rivers emerges with the football. Now to Bell. Gains some territory. Travis Johnson striving to get there. Will just get there inside the line. Can look up. Can go inboard to White. And does. Jeff White looks up. Can go towards 50. Uze's his target. Standing tall was McFarlane. Spills to Dunn. Flashing across was Walker. He's wrapped up now by Dunn. Ball spills free. Uze sweating on McFarlane. Here's Davey lurking. Tries to keep it alive. He's got 3 Dockers hanging off him. Shammer takes possession for Freo. They need a big start in this final term, the Dockers. Hayes will be back to Shammer. And now to Polak on centre wing. The lead's on from Pavlich. Carroll by his shoulder. And Johnson to tidy up for Melbourne. Can work it inboard to McLean, the 1-2. Back to Johnston. He can switch it up. Dunn's found some space. Thinks about going laterally to Pickett. Spears to Robertson. Not quite. Mundy gives it up to White. Melbourne building. Dunn. Awkward bounce. Pickett lurking. He's besieged. Set upon by 3 Dockers. And Parker can give it to Black. And the Dockers now a chance off half back.
So the run comes from Duffield. Edge of the centre square. 3 bounces. Carries the ball. He's on the charge. Takes him on. Great to see with a young player. Can he finish? Johnson's getting back. He's got 2 to beat. Loose ball. They need a crummer.
Just give it a free.
Johnson has got the free kick. Too high.
Great to see a young bloke take him on like that. Only went about 30 metres more than he should have without putting the ball on the ground. But I'm glad the umpire said, no, we want the crowd to enjoy this.
Well, you've got to back yourself in, don't you? You've got to have a crack.
So they got nothing to lose in this stage, Kevin.
Going for goal number 3 for Johnson. He's had a tremendous game. Just pops it through. Young man's got 3.
Well, he showed some poise, hasn't he, at both ends of the ground, and a young bloke in terms of age and maturity in games played, so that's one they can look forward to. But the Dockers have got habits of developing young talent that seems to disappear somewhere after about 30 or 40 league games. So usually disappears somewhere else, JB, to play for another league team exceptionally well. We don't want to remember McPhee and people like that.
Three goals to Michael Johnson. Dockers still alive. Margin 27 points as we head down to Barnsley.
Ryan Crowley definitely gone to the hospital for x-rays, guys, and if you're worried about Melbourne's apology with Godfrey, there's no match up for him, boys, so he's just walking around the boundary.
Just played 12 minutes this afternoon. Simon Godfrey, the ball's with Bell. Storms around the southern stand wing. Steps inside Mundy. Gives it to a flat-footed Bartram. There's a free kick going the other way. It's going to be a turnaround for the Shepherd. It's going to go to Freo and Polak. He can switch it to the corridor and find Black. Confronted by Pickett. Has to give it off to Duffield. Through some traffic. Chips it forward and gets it back again, Duffield. Tumbles a punt inside 50. Awkward bounce. Almost got through to Carr. But there to tidy it up was Carroll. Now Travis Johnston. Busy in the third term. Been busy all afternoon. 21st possession coming up. Goes short, finds Bruce at defensive 50.
They're already 21 great possessions, aren't they? He's one of the best users in the competition.
Here's Miller. Uze's worked off Bell, and he's got Bartram over the top. Bartram can get it and go. Can run to 50. Bartram. Tight angle. Good kick. Just misses.
Well, he pinned his ears back to have a go. I think the young bloke should have centred that. He had enough tall timber down there. Jamar particularly worrying the heck out of him. He should have squared it up and not had a shot from that run.
28 points the difference. 5 minutes gone. Final term on Saturday afternoon football. Here's Kevin Bartlett.
And Mundy goes short. The Dockers trail 56 plays, 84. 12-12 to 8-8. Some run coming. Walker has the kick smothered off the boot. Pickett, just a roll of the shoulders, breaks the tackle, goes wide, looks for the flashes, got it on 50. Now goes wide, he's looking for McLean. A great kick and hard running from McLean. He is a star of the future. That is, if he's not a star now, because when he's fitting well, he is the heartbeat of Melbourne.
Disastrous effort by Fremantle to take it forward. Bloke standing still with the ball, gave to one running at half pace in the handball. Kick got smothered. Turnover, open forward line. Toss of the coin. You have it, no, I'll have it.
McLean. 19 possessions. Yet to kick a goal. Runs to 45. Straight through the centre. Straight through the heart of the Dockers.
It might get nasty, Kevin and JB. It might get nasty if they get a roll on now. I don't think there's much left in the psyche of the Fremantle boys to fight this out and get some, what's the word, a bit of respect out in the last quarter, because they've been well and truly beaten. Except for small portions of the game, Melbourne have controlled it in every element, aerial, at ground level, contest and usage, run and work. Melbourne much the superior team.
Margin back out to 34 points. We've played 6 3/4 minutes in the final term. Warren versus White. Young man did well, got it down to Josh Carr. He's wrapped up by McDonald and dispossessed. Black had it momentarily. A rolling maul. Scott McLaren will come in and ball up. That says a bit about the respective forward lines. Marks inside 50, 12-3 in favour of the D's. Much better at spotting up targets inside 50 all afternoon, Melbourne. It's been pretty hard work for the Dockers going forward this afternoon. Overall inside 50s 40 to 38 in favour of Melbourne, yet they've taken 4 times as many marks once it's got in there. White and Warren again. Here's Hazelby. High ball. McDonald goes back. Pollack arrives late. That is a great grab from James McDonald.
And isn't he a great workhorse? He's a very underrated player over a long period of time.
Playing game number 160. Miller goes to Neitz versus Grover. Parker at the back against Bate. Parker did well. The two veterans link up. Here's Bell, a third. Chips it to Shammer. Hard lead up the middle from Mundy. That's ignored. Goes short to James Walker.
What annoys me, tempo football, whatever that is, then you've still got to take and spin and get back off the mark in case the option's there. And they've been slow to do that all day, Fremantle. That's one of the poorest elements of their habitual behaviour.
Hard work again from Pavlich to get on the end of it. And he delivers to Dodd. They inch it forward inside 50. Hazelby. Bell arrived just in time to slap it clear. Here's KB's love child, Brock McLean. Gone this time. He has been very, very good today. But this man Duffield's showing a bit after half-time. He was fantastic last week, Paul Duffield, against West Coast. 21 possessions, 9 marks last week. Today we're just seeing him in glimpses. Long kick to the top of the goal square. Rivers with a timely fist. Melbourne with numbers there. Rivers tries to follow it up. Mundy takes him out illegally. Advantage will be paid. Green to Bartram at half-back. And Melbourne a chance to build once again.
So Bartram likes to go for a run, backs himself in again. Out of the corner of his eye he sees James McDonald, who pops the ball out in front, looking for Neitz, a one-hander with strength, playing in front of Grover. Here comes the flash. If he can get a lucky bounce, we might see a bit of magic. Squeezed up on the half-forward flank with the ball. Grover trying to somehow get the ball out. It comes out to Neitz. He gets the green light from White and hammers the ball to the goal square. And big Jamar has been so dangerous. Loose ball. Brock McLean kicks a goal. Look at the Melbourne supporters.
Here's a question for you, KB. You played with his Uncle Roderick, Ricky McLean.
Yes.
Who was a better player, Brock or Ricky, given that Ricky was one tough muchacho?
Well, I think Brock's a better player and Ricky would have been a better fighter. I think the last game he played for Richmond, he got 21 weeks. Then he went into the local competition, came back to the last 2 games of the season, got another 21 weeks. So I reckon he might have been tougher or sillier, but this kid can play.
Brock McLean's uncle Ricky played 58 games for Carlton and Richmond between 1966 and 76. He played 58 games and missed 30 through suspension.
Very, very scary character.
I'm glad you made that call, but you were right.
40 points the margin. Melbourne marching on at the G. Here's Josh Carr. Spears inside 50 over the head of Pavlich. And Nathan Carroll's had a pretty good day. Pavlich has had an influence and worked hard, and Carroll stuck to his guns. Here's McLean again. Beautifully weighted kick to the wing. Rivers links up with Travis Johnstone. Something generally happens when Travis is on one end of it. Goes to 55. Looks for an option. Goes to Bartram. Ball still there for Uze. On the right boot. The fall-away kick. Peterbilt goalkeeper style tips it out. Bate. Johnston, banana, goal! Something always happens when Trav gets on the end of it.
Did you see that young boy Bate then? That's what I like in young players. The first time he could put his hands on the ball, he grabbed it. He didn't try and tickle along or do any of that sort of stuff or paddle the ball up. He just put his hands on the ball, grabbed it, was able to give the ball out straight away.
Well, once you've got hold of it, Kevin, you've got some control over what happens. You might get caught.
You watch him there. He'll just pick it up with one grab.
Just fantastic. What a great goaler. The young bloke from Essendon might take a leap out of Johnson's book there with that beautiful banana on the run.
Demons by 46 points. There's Uze on the blow-up.
Floodgates are creaking, aren't they, Parker?
They have, and they really have creaked. Yes, they have.
Uze's had it 24 times. He's booted a couple of goals as well. Warren in the ruck work in his first game as Melbourne again come forward. Here's Godfrey. He's been sitting on the bench most of the day. Goes wide. Finds Travis Johnstone. Melbourne crowd expecting a bit of magic from this man. He's on a 45-degree angle. He'll be shooting from 40 metres. There's plenty of goal space.
Would have been hard to predict, Kevin, before the game that probably Melbourne will end up doubling Fremantle's score.
Looking at 6.3 metres of daylight is Travis Johnstone. Leans back, bends it back. Like Beckham, kicks a goal.
Now that's a draw stroke, isn't it? That's what I've been trying to do with my golf strokes for a long time. It looked like it was fading to the left and it gained legs and went back to the right. I don't know how you do that, Kev. Is that the modern footballer's control over the ball?
It's the stitching. Stitching on the shirt. I heard Malcolm Blight say it one night. It's to do with the stitching.
See, that's another one of Malcolm's theories, isn't it?
He can make it talk at times, Travis Johnstone. Chris Conley looking a little exasperated. Disappointing result for the Dockers, this, and it could get worse with 11 minutes on the clock. Melbourne have really got the taste for it now. Dockers have to dig in. Pickett comes thundering through. James McDonald. It's one-way traffic. Travis Johnstone in the middle of it. Here's Byron again. Looks up. Goes to Bruce at 50. Here comes another one. That'll be paid.
I think the D supporters, the Melbourne supporters, are warming very much to Byron Pickett. I think they love him without the ball, but they love him even more with the ball.
The applause for David Neitz, the skipper, comes off. Three goals in 5 minutes. This to make it 4 in 7 minutes. Cameron Bruce hangs it out to the right for a minor score.
And Jamar going into the forward line to provide the structure, and White coming back onto the ball for the last few minutes.
53 points the margin. It's been a disappointing day all round for the Dockers. Shammer, aside from the opening 2 minutes, they really haven't fired a shot. They've had moments in the game where they've had a little bit of momentum, but haven't been able to convert that into full effect on the scoreboard. And then Melbourne, when it's gone back their way, have certainly made it count in front of the big sticks. Here's Grover, the 100th game he'd probably rather forget. Not necessarily from a personal perspective, but just overall in terms of what they promised and what they've been able to deliver. Josh Carr, he's been pretty flat by his lofty standards as well. 12th touch for him coming up. Carroll at the back. Been a good battle with Pavlich, one of the highlights of the game, those two going at it. Here's Cook. Swings it inside 50. Jared Rivers. Been solid. Here's Pickett again. Up the middle to McDonald. Melbourne players just seeming to have space. A couple of metres on their opponents when it matters. McDonald waltzes through the middle, goes to Bate. Working hard forward of it is Bruce. He'll go to Davey instead, and why not? Couldn't quite hang on, but at ground level, he's like a panther. Squares it to the top of the goal square. Parker read it and rushed it.
Demons by 54 points. Shemmer's got it across half-back. Finds Black. Just trying to draw an opponent. Melbourne not wanting to get sucked in. Godfrey off the bench with fresh legs, does the chasing. Taken by Dodd. He's had the job playing on Cameron Bruce all day. Goes wide. Finds Duffield, puts it out in front, looking for Bell. Keeps the ball alive. No. Whistle's gone. Boundary throwing. 16-14, 110 the Demons. 8-8, 56 the Dockers. Melbourne led by 6 points at quarter time. 37 points at half-time, 33 points at three-quarter time. They've now stretched it to a 54-point ball game as Dunn comes on for the Demons. And Robertson takes a rest. White finds Rivers. He's just starting to find some really good touch. Last year was a disappointing year after winning the Rising Star the year before, but has really started to find some touch, and so important to Melbourne at centre half back. Miller Also back into the side, goes short, finds Godfrey. And the flash, Aaron Davey's taking a break as well, to be replaced by Uze. Gets a tremendous round of applause. He's thrilled us today. Dunn this time, outnumbered and still good enough to win the ball. Wrapped up in the tackle. Forces the ball up.
Career high 23 possessions for Aaron Davey today, surpassing his previous best, 19 against Carlton in round 1 and the Roos in round 5.
A couple of goals as well. Also been responsible for about 3 or 4 goals today from his direct play. He has just thrilled us today. As we've got a ball up. Some 60 metres out from Melbourne's goal. Leading possession winners for Melbourne today. Travis Johnson has worked his way to 25, 24 to Uze, 23 to Davey, 22 to McLean. A couple of goals as well. Pickett with 19 plus a goal. Pavlich with 23 possessions. He was a dynamic player in the first half. 23 to Shamra as well. As Melbourne come forward, here's Jamar, who's just lurking in that goal square and through for a behind.
Quick restart from Grover. Pitches in front of Black. Nothing at all to go to. Matthew Carr makes position. Takes the mark. Dangerous kick. Bartram cuts it off. And as flat as attack today, the Fremantle Dockers. And Melbourne have been good enough to put them away. Dunn has been impressive. Been one of the real positives today of Melbourne's performance. They've been great as a team. They've maintained their momentum to win 4 straight. But it's the contribution of their youngsters.
7 marks.
That has been most impressive, I think, David.
Oh, no doubt. No, go away. Not only with 4 points and a big boost in the percentage that needs it, but confirmation that they have a terrific, what would you call it, developing group of players who are in that 30, 0 to 30 game there. I think it's a very exciting time ahead for the Melbourne Footy Club.
Off comes young Brock Bartlett. As Lynden Dunn kicks a goal. Beautiful finish. He gets his first. He looks a promising prospect, taken at pick 15 in the 2004 draft with Melbourne's 2nd pick overall. Debuted last week against the Cats, had 8 possessions, kicked a couple of goals, and today has done some impressive things. 15 possessions for Lynden Dunn, 7 marks, 1 goal, 2.
It's hard to find the other pivoters. It's hard to find a Fremantle player, Jason and Kevin, who's actually beaten his opponent on the day. Some have had reasonable contests, but I don't see one clear winner in the Fremantle makeup, which means you're never ever going to win games of this quality.
Demons by 10 goals now, in fact 61 points. Green on hands and knees, still continues to work hard, as does White. Been a very disappointing day for Fremantle, coming off a great win last week against West Coast with Hazelby kicking winning goal. There's Brock McLean on screen, arguably close to being best player on the ground. St Kilda the week before, that famous game down in Fremantle, and also a good performance against Adelaide. But today they have been completely outgunned by Melbourne. Here's Uze, straight into the action. Big Jamar lopes to the ball. He's got Grover to beat. Paddles the ball long in front, needs support, gets it from Pickett. Just tries to mesmerise his opponent. Steps on 50. Kicks the space. The race is on. Green beaten by Black. To Pavlich. Cross halfback. That was a great smother. Melbourne's going to win the ball. To Jeff White. Just dances on a dollar. Kicks a high ball. Here's one for the high fly. Big Jamar stands in front. Great grab by Parker.
Was the ripper.
Shades of Royce Hart coming across in front. Finds Cook. Kicked an early goal. Came into the side as a late inclusion, along with Crowley, who unfortunately, John Barnes tells us, took a heavy knock from Byron Pickett, has gone to hospital. And there's a mark in front by Medhurst.
60 metres out. Goes looking for Farmer. Whelan out of position. Did well. Very timely fist. Hazelby looks to tidy it up. He's worked off it by Maloney. Whelan straight ahead, kept going. 1 possession and gave it to McDonald. Now to Miller. Been a very good day at the office for the D's. Carroll. And after a shaky start, dropping their first 3 games, bounced back with a very, very solid month of footy. No thriller this afternoon. They've done it in style. Carroll back to Miller. And now Robertson at defensive 50. Just over 4 minutes remaining until full time. Whelan has it again. Dunn offers a short lead. Green offers a shorter one. Receives the football. Gives it off to Johnstone. Now Bruce. Patient, unhurried build-up from the D's as Bruce goes wide. Robertson, who had it at half-back moments ago, ran 100 metres to present, and unfortunately for him, he took the mark, but it was just on the wrong side of the boundary line. Pavlich with a resultant free kick. Shammer offers short. Pavlich takes him up on the offer. Switches back to Polak, defensive 25. Grover. Game just going up and down on the spot at the moment. Two pretty tired teams. It's been a hard-running contest. Unfortunately for the Dockers, it's been Melbourne making the running for most of it and Freo having to do the chasing. Duffield. Penetrating kick towards Johnson at half forward. He's worked out of it by White, which opens the door for Miller. Now chips to Robertson. Bait it is, rather, on centre wing. Robertson, next link in the chain. Goes inboard instead to Godfrey. Godfrey spears towards Jamar on the lead. The big man's almost pulled it in, not quite. Grover to Duffield. And again, the ball just bouncing between the respective half-back lines as Hazelby receives from Polak, gives it to Cook, and now Thornton. Goes to 50. Medhurst on the lead. Big stretch and takes the mark. Looked to be running underneath it. From 55. Goes with a big bomb. Carroll tracks it back, and it's just the wrong side of the post for Paul Medhurst and the Fremantle Dockers. 1-2 to Medhurst this afternoon.
Miller goes short. 17-15, 117 the Demons. The Dockers are 8-9, 57. They trail by 60 points. It's a cool 10 goals. Uze leading possession winner on the ground. 26 possessions. He's booted a couple of goals. Looking for Jeff White. Bit of carry on the ball. Whelan's had the job today, playing on Jeff Farmer. Whelan's kicked a couple of goals. It's been a very good contest. There's Maloney tracking the boundary line. Looking for Robertson. Was he held off the ball? Slaps the ball back into play. Duffield. Run down by Lynden Dunn. Good enough to get the hand pass away. Here's a chance for Shammer. Came from Walker. Comes away from centre half back. Goes short. Finds Hazelby. Through the centre square. Farmer could be danger. Here's Medhurst in front. Another good grab on the stretch. Farmer now tracking back quickly to the goal square. Medhurst fancies his chances. Kicks a high ball. Melbourne's got to punch this through. Good defensive play.
Just a dumb decision. I mean, players know their capabilities. You know, I mean, that's a kick in hope and gave himself no chance of scoring a goal. I dislike players who do that, just abdicating the responsibility of the team at all.
Here's Travis Johnson. He's on half back, goes forward, looking for Godfrey. Has the ball slapped over the line by Thornton. Time clock ticking away. We're played just on 26.5 minutes into this final term. Been a great performance by Melbourne over the last 4 weeks. This is 4 on the trot. It all started in Sydney. Then they beat the Kangaroos, then the Cats, and now the Dockers. So they are hot to trot. Troy Cook pulled off the ball by Travis Johnson. Here's a chance. Brock McLean. Fossigan for the ball at ground level. Peter Bell. Brought down by McDonald. Again, Johnson with a second effort. Finally slapped the ball towards the boundary line. And another toss back in.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, we should talk about that later, but it's hard to judge how much to travel. 2 that they've travelled Fremantle in the last couple of weeks. Yep. 1 into Tassie and 1 back here. And the games that they've played. But Melbourne's been in the heat, haven't they, for 4 weeks with close wins and good opposition. So it's been a terrific effort by Melbourne.
Ball finishes with McLean. Melbourne win 4 on the trot. Too good for the Dockers today. Melbourne 17-15, 117. Led just about the whole afternoon. Fremantle 8-10, 58. The margin 59 points. McLean finished with 2 goals, as did Neitz, Johnstone, Green, Robertson and Davey. A healthy sign in itself. So many scoring options. While for Fremantle, young Michael Johnson booted 3 and Farmer 2. But it was all Melbourne. 17-15, 117. Fremantle 8-10, 58. One of the stars for the Demons today was their best and fairest winner from last season. Travis Johnstone finished with 27 possessions, and here he is with Johnny Barnes.
Yeah, bloke I rate very highly, guys. 3/4 time, Trav, you had a chat with the midfield, mate. What did you say to him?
Yeah, no, we just have to stick to our guns and just do the 1%ers and just one-on-one footy. That's when we play our best footy.
You've had 4 wins in a row. They've all been pretty hard, opponents. You've got a great lead up now. You're playing fantastic footy, you young blokes. They're a bloody good bunch.
Yeah, no, well, that was our real asset test today because we knew Freo and they're probably the informed team at the moment. And we knew they were going to come out and give us a real hard challenge. And to the boys' credit, we've instead of having a close one, we've had a pretty good victory. And we've got to stick to our guns. Just keep working hard off the track, what we've been doing, and doing the team things, and the rewards are coming.